evening, or whatever time of day it is for you listeners, and welcome back to Hindsight is Horrifying. I'm your hostess with the mostest, Darth Jader, and I am here with my co-host, Jason.
Hello.
And listeners, if you listened to our last episode of Stephen King's It! You will know that this is a historic episode, as was the first, because this is our first ever two-part episode.
Woo! To be continued right now.
It's a time of upheaval. It's a time of upheaval in the Stephen King universe, where all these kids are being terrified by a psycho, demonic, evil clown who's murdering the children of, what is it, Derry?
Derry, Maine.
Derry, Maine, yes. I love that name. And this includes Seth Green, Jonathan Brandis, just like a bunch of classic names. But we are concluding on the second half of Stephen King's It. So, Jason, who have we got going on with the studio today?
Well, somebody apparently wanted to get his dog back.
Yeah.
And the information will be texted to you at the end of the recording. But young Adam is back. Woo!
Young Adam!
I'm just here for the dog, guys.
Yeah, we have to differentiate our Adams on this show because apparently we have a collection. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, Adam, welcome back. Thank you for joining us
Thank
again.
you for having me
again. I was actually thinking about that. You know what's funny about the fact that we have three different Adams is that they're effectively from three different generations. So it's not like...
How old is your Adam?
He's a year younger than me.
Okay, so he's middle-aged man.
Yeah.
Like we discussed. Okay, now...
Adam Brown is the next...
Old man.
Okay, old man Adam Brown. Okay.
You're so mean.
You called me middle-aged man.
You call yourself middle-aged all the time. No, but... And you're the one who even brought up that sketch. I wouldn't know about it if it weren't for you.
Yeah, but...
So you have no one to blame but yourself.
So it's not like we have three people, three girls named Madison who were born in 1992.
Yeah.
It's not like that. Which, if
That's
we
true.
did, we'd have far more listeners.
Probably if we got more chicas up in the studio. But I brought you some boys to play with because you got so tired of hanging out with girls.
Thank you.
So brought you another boy back, and so we're still discussing Stephen King's It, and we left off where in this fantastic moment of claymation. Pennywise melted after being slingshotted with pieces of silver, right?
Piece of silver, because it kills werewolves, so if they believe it kills the clown, it kills the clown.
Right.
And it's the probably the best claymation I've ever seen in a 1990 ABC television film. So,
I think that's, I think you're right.
There's a niche.
Ranks up there.
I think it actually won wait, what's the TV one? It's not the Oscars.
Emmys.
Not a Grammy, that's
Emmys.
music.
Yeah.
Emmys, yeah.
That's the Emmys.
The sad thing is,
for Tim Curry's rendition of Sad Clown.
I think this film did actually win an Emmy for soundtrack, which is crazy because the soundtrack's awful.
It is pretty terrible.
That's a weird thing for this to win an Emmy
of all the
for,
things. No Tim Curry, just the soundtrack.
Well, Tim Curry's the most timeless piece of this entire movie anyway.
He's the reason we watched this.
Everything else aged out so poorly, but Tim Curry is just classic no matter what he does. So.
Wilderness Guilds.
And we came back in a really fun portion of the movie, listeners, because Stan, the little Boy Scout who grew up and got the call to come back to Derry, Maine to defeat Pennywise, has now committed suicide in his tub.
He slit his wrist and wrote 2 letters spelling it on the wall there.
But he left out the exclamation point.
I was just about to say.
He died with a typo. It's terrible.
I mean, he didn't time it out right, I guess. But it actually is a really...
So this isn't a funny scene. But...
No, it's not. It's a very poignantly sad moment because a few minutes before, Mike gives everybody the call to come back to Derry.
Right.
So Mike calls Stanley, and you see Stanley kind of freeze. And a few minutes before he got that call, he and his wife are talking about starting their family and having a baby, and they're all loving and happy, and it's a beautiful little moment. And then Stanley offs himself about 5 minutes later.
Great timing, Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, way
Appreciate
to ruin
the
that
call,
moment.
buddy.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you have Bill, who I guess is the first to return.
Billy boy.
Yeah, Billy boy.
Rocking a ponytail.
Oh, God, that ponytail tied with the leather string.
Yeah.
Isn't that the dude from the Waltons?
It may be.
I want to say that's
like
the dude
him.
from the Waltons.
He kind of has like almost a Val Kilmer look to him.
Sort of like if Val Kilmer and Dave Foley had a baby.
A little bit. I can see it.
I can sort of see that. So now we're starting part 2, Revenge of the Stop Motion Spider from Mars.
Yeah,
and,
because why not? Yeah, and the big spider did remind me of Lost in Space, the remake with Joey from Friends. It's because of all the spiders that were running around in that movie.
The one blockbuster movie that Joey was in. Yeah.
Oh, he has to have been in more than one blockbuster. Matt LeBlanc.
Uh,
It's like that time we tried to figure out what movies Gina Davis was in besides Beetlejuice, and we couldn't figure it out. It's not coming to mind right now.
The Fly, League of Her Own. Okay.
Yeah, we believe me, I solved that in
I'm
the
a
episode
fan.
description. Well, who isn't? She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I have a question because we're in the scene where
Billy-
Pennywise, he shows up in the graveyard and he's like, you can have any of these graves except for the last one. Ha
That one's taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could he not leave town and just get on a plane and fly away?
That's the thing. If you leave
Who,
Derry,
Bill?
Pennywise is gone.
Yeah.
He stays in Derry.
Yeah. I
So-
mean,
Well, and we discussed that on the prior episode, is the fact that whenever they left Derry, their minds all fogged over and they didn't remember anything about it.
that's part of
Because
Pennywise's power.
That's what you're saying. Since he returns every 30 years to feed, he doesn't want people to remember him. But the thing is, the second Bill got the call from Mike, he suddenly remembers that his little brother was brutally murdered when they were children.
Yeah.
And it comes back differently for all of them, and I don't really know what the rules are. So it's kind of strange how that works, but I know we discussed that. Oh, and Mike, I don't know if I mentioned this on the previous episode. You know, that's the dad from Sister Sister.
Yeah, Tim
Yeah.
Reed. Yeah.
this brings up a very interesting cultural point. Whenever I was a kid watching TV and movies at this time, I was genuinely convinced that when black people aged, all that happened was they got little sort of gray patches on the sides of their heads.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's all anyone ever did to age people back then, was they just were going to frost just the sides.
That's actually baby powder that they put in his hair. That's true.
It's like the horse.
Yeah.
It's just like the horse of a different color in The Wizard of Oz. They painted him with Jello to make him all those different
my
colors.
God,
yeah.
Because he was a white horse, so they were able to paint him with Jello.
They tried LSD, but that didn't work.
And the horse flipped out. So they had to go to regular
Yeah.
ingredients.
So I don't know if you guys agree with me on this, but I actually, despite like all of these very famous television actors of the time being in the second part playing the adult versions of the Losers Club, I always thought that the actors playing the children versions were more captivating.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, they are. It stops being as interesting when it's grown-ups.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like a lot of these adults, they don't seem like the older versions of their kid counterparts.
They really don't. Like, I don't think they put much thought into that. Like Stanley, I know you change as you grow, but Stanley doesn't look anything like he did as a kid.
Not at all.
And I don't like different facial structure, different everything. It's not just like he went a little thin in the hair or something.
Oh,
but,
no.
But yeah, you're right, Adam. There was not a smooth transition.
The only one that may work is Eddie, maybe. So
Yeah, Eddie, I can see. I think he's the most similar looking. And what's her face, Beverly, the group girl.
Yeah.
Who I've got issues with Beverly.
Yeah,
'cause
we've
they're-
noticed.
No, they all come back, and Bill is married to someone else. And the first thing Beverly does when she sees Bill is kiss him on the mouth.
terrible.
Like, it's just so.
Oh, you guys clearly haven't read the book.
Oh no, I haven't.
Does she kiss him somewhere else?
She kisses all of them somewhere
Off-running.
else. All of them get kissed somewhere else.
Well, she even has a line in the movie along some point where she was describing them cleaning up the sink when the blood exploded in her bathroom.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, I fell in love with all of you boys that day." And it's just, okay, Beverly,
Yeah,
that's great.
these boys definitely didn't develop that instinct for run like hell.
No.
Yeah, just no.
They're running toward the danger.
No,
It's definitely makes sense that the controversial child orgy scene was cut out of each film.
yeah, big surprise there.
Controversial. Oh, what kind of prudes are out there? Jeez.
Maybe Pennywise. Maybe that's just a part of his whole power is that he preys on sort of stupid kids.
Yeah.
Like it's if you're like really smart, he can't do anything to you.
It's like, I give up. They're smart. Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go in there. It's a freaking murderous clown.
These guys are the Losers Club.
So the point is, it's a very pro-bullying movie.
It really is. There's bullying from
Hey!
Henry Bowers. There's bullying.
Judge Harold T. Stone.
There's your boy.
Yep, we love him.
I believe we're about to get into possibly the best scene in the entire movie, in my humble opinion.
Oh yeah, the library.
The library
yeah.
scene. Listeners, if you haven't seen this film, if you need something to convince you to watch this one, just go online and type in Stephen King's It library scene, and just enjoy.
It's pretty trippy because
Yeah.
It's probably Tim Curry's craziest moment in the movie. Like, he literally chews off the scenery.
Yeah.
yeah. And what's great about it is Harry Anderson is just. I'm not used to seeing him in a serious role.
Right.
I've seen
yeah.
him on Night
It's-
Court.
yeah,
like
he's Judge Harold T. Stone.
Yeah, he's a funny guy, but in this movie, and he is a funny guy on television. He grew up to be a TV personality in this
Right.
movie.
He's a comedian.
And yeah, he's a comedian, but he comes back and everything's so serious. And his character Richie, right?
Richie, yeah.
he's Richie.
Beep, beep, Richie.
Yeah, beep beep Richie. But he's the one who's always got the bravado and the swagger. He dumped the soda on the bullies in the movie theater when they were kids, and you think that Richie has the thickest skin, but he seems to be one of the mentally weakest, especially as an adult.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And which I think leads to this whole library scene because he's sitting there and Pennywise is up on the second level of the library.
I got a balloon for you.
Oh God, that makeup and those teeth. But yeah, Tim Curry is literally just losing his mind, going psychotic in the library.
I don't think Tim Curry even knew they were filming. That was just him being Tim Curry.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the director said. I think I mentioned this on the previous episode.
The
is that
blood balloons.
It was a very Robin Williams approach. He said, I
Stephen
just had
Fry,
to let Tim
no.
Curry run with his instincts. Oh, God. But yeah, the balloons all explode and they've got blood in them. And
Oh, yeah.
it's so creepy because blood is exploding on all these patrons of the library and they don't even notice
Help
it.
me, I'm allergic to tempera paint.
I love how all of the
At least
actors...
he wasn't hit with a car with a knife on the end of it.
Yeah.
They all
It's a
flinch.
similar explosion, though.
They all flinch when the balloons pop. I love it.
Well, I think that's just a universal thing. Even when you know a balloon is going
Right,
to pop,
yeah,
that I always jump when that happens.
www, woman sits on balloon. Pops.
And pops
.com.
balloons, balloons. Get her some earmuffs. She won't be able to hear it.
Tim Curry's just having the time of his life right now.
Yeah. Tim, come on, we're trying to film here.
Meanwhile, the poor librarian just thinks that Harry Anderson is losing his damn mind because
Yeah.
he's panicking and clearly having some sort of a fit. And he's covered in blood, which only he can see. And she's just like, oh, this strange guy. Here, would you like a glass of water, mister? Like, she's just trying to get him to
Yeah.
calm down.
This is the only thing I've seen him in, but he's definitely one of the strongest actors in this film.
Yeah, he is. And you know, I'm surprised he didn't figure out a way of squeezing close-up magic in because he always squeezed close-up magic into everything he did.
I think he did it at some point in this
Did
movie.
He may have. He might
I think
have.
he does it when they go to dinner, unless I'm very much mistaken. But okay, this is a point that I wrote down in my notes: is that like these adults come back with a clear mission, or at least you think they do. The whole point is for them to come back and destroy Pennywise and to save the town of Derry.
Right.
But then they get there and they're going to dinner and they're
Yeah,
riding bikes.
yeah.
They've just got all this extra downtime for these random mass
Yeah.
activities.
They're not.
like-
They're not Linda Hamilton.
No,
Yeah.
they're
Why-
not very
Yeah.
motivated. Yeah.
Why is Pennywise not even bothering to attack them
Yeah.
right here when they're not even together?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing at Matadoring on a bicycle and a coat, and Mike slaps himself in the face with his own coat, and they're just reliving moments from their childhood because you got the silver bike, the hi-ho silver.
Away!
It's
And then
a-
you got the Temptations playing in the soundtrack because
heck yeah.
the
Yeah.
60s, 50s.
Whatever decade it is, but yeah, it just... I don't know. It's a really sweet scene, and it just smacks of their childhood, or at least the good portions of it. Like they put a little playing card in the spokes of the bicycle, so it'll sound like a motorcycle, and it's really cute, and it's a touching moment. But it's like, don't you guys have a murderous clown to deal with at the moment?
It
Like,
just seems like the movie forgets what it is for a couple minutes there.
yeah,
Yeah, it almost smells like one of those things where somebody at a meeting somewhere said, "Hey, you know, we need to, you know, for part 2, we need to kind of, you know, put something in there that the old folks can kind of,
relate to. Yeah.
yeah, you know, we need some nostalgia in this."
Oh my God! Do you see the size of that cell
30
phone
something.
John
Oh,
Ritter's
wow.
holding?
John Ritter's cell phone is bigger than his head, actually.
Yeah, that cell phone's
yeah.
roughly the size of my car.
Oh. Pennywise's entrance as he enters Derry is brilliant.
Oh yeah, and John Ritter. What was his character's name? He's Ben, right?
Ben, yeah.
Okay, I'm
Haystack.
I'm having trouble keeping all the kids straight with their names, but yeah, the first thing he does is stop in the middle of nowhere to go down to their little hideout where they used to build a dam, all alone in the woods.
And the taxi driver's just like, what the hell?
Hey, you gonna pay me?
Just keep the meter running. Did you pop the TARDIS onto me? But yeah,
In that
just-
case, take your time.
yeah, knowing that there's a murderous clown about, and he just goes out alone. And of course, they're all having really symbolic moments from their childhood. Like John Ritter was teased for being fat, and then he sees another
Get to the
kid.
choppers.
Yeah, the slow-mo run
Yeah.
with him flashing back to being chased by Henry Bowers and his little gang of thugs, and now he's seeing this other kid, this little chubby kid, getting chased and bullied in the woods just like he used to be. So
I do kind of appreciate that. I love it how they all enter Derry, and it's almost as if like they're jumping back into this weird bubble of time, and everything just waves back into them. I love that. They just remember all of it all of a sudden.
right. And it just like it's funny how the town and Pennywise are kind of working together in the sense that he's trying to scare them with, you know, their own fears and stuff and memories, but the town itself seems to be doing a pretty good job of remember what your childhood was like.
Yeah.
We're going to show you an example of that and how it still maintains its, you know, it's still true today. Like,
Here, let me help you. So, do they still dump the sewage in the water here?
have you seen Tim Curry running around? If so, stay the hell away from him.
I would have seriously asked all the kids. I would have been like, "Have you seen the clown anywhere?"
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like John Ritter. I think John Ritter's character looks the least like his childhood counterpart. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Ben
Oh,
is
yeah.
this chubby
Yeah.
little blonde boy, and then he grows up to be John Ritter.
Yeah.
It's like your hair completely
Yeah.
changed color, which I mean happens when you're really, really young, not when you're 14. It's so
The
random.
weird skeleton on the water. Here we are.
Yeah, that's
Instead of-
creepy.
That's creepy.
That's creepy.
I still think Tim Curry on the water was more effective.
Oh yeah,
the
yeah.
first time.
Yeah.
Big time.
No, I mean, as far as I mean, I get the whole suspension of disbelief thing. You know, that's sorry, the random hobo in the middle of the swamp.
Like
Every
you do.
great horror
Like,
movie
yeah.
has that.
Yeah,
He's living in a cave,
Yeah.
like you do.
I'm just working on my thesis. Man.
God.
And the cab, he's still sitting there.
Well, yeah.
I'm really glad you came back because this whole keep the meter thing kind of, you know, it doesn't work if you just leave.
This is true. But this is the 90s, you know. People were somewhat trustworthy back then.
Yeah.
If you, especially in those tiny little towns like Derry.
So you're gonna audition for 30 something?
Oh god, and Tim Curry's just everywhere. He's holding the balloons on the side of the street, just mentally terrorizing these poor people.
Yeah. The guy's got to spend a lot of money on balloons. You know?
The balloon budget is out of control.
Well, think about it.
And printing words on the
Well,
balloon
exactly, because you can't just
That's
Pennywise.
customized.
He couldn't just order one of those.
No,
balloons.
you've gotta
He had
order them in bulk.
Yeah, he had to get like 1,000 of them, and he only
yeah.
needed one. You know.
Yeah.
Well, luckily he's got 8 kids or 7 kids to terrorize,
that's
so
true.
it's got to spread out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you come back and it's this very the opposite of It's a Wonderful Life when Eddie comes to the pharmacy to get his inhaler refilled, and you come to find that the pharmacist who was kind to him as a little boy, it's his great grandchild or something running the pharmacy now, or
Right,
something to that
definitely a
extent.
relative,
Yeah,
yeah.
a relative. But the pharmacist is the opposite of the one in the Wonderful Life who slaps Jimmy Stewart bloody.
yeah,
This guy actually says, "Hey, you and your mom have a really creepy Bates Motel kind of relationship going on. Have you ever heard of a placebo?"
Do I look like Bryan Cranston? A little.
Oh my God, he
just
does.
a little
bit. Yeah, a little bit.
That was Bryan Cranston's dad. The meth business was actually a family
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
This is little.
It's all in the family.
It's a little known fact that it is a prequel to Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that was the original front for the meth business.
Yeah. See, I
Was
love
the pharmacy.
That's another one of my favorite games is taking two cinematic universes and,
tying them
just
together.
saying, let's just assume that they're the same, and
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, I irritated the hell out of my friends with that once because I can't remember the exact status, but I put it on Facebook, and it was something to the extent of Leonardo DiCaprio dies on the Titanic, April 14th, 1912, wakes up, fakes his own death, pretends to drown, actually stole the necklace, and goes off to West Egg to be Jay Gatsby, the millionaire with a dark secret. And then he drowns,
right.
or
I'm
doesn't
with
drown
you.
in his pool. He gets shot and he lands in his pool, and then he wakes up on the beach in Inception.
That's what I was gonna. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
And my friends were like,
Yeah.
"Stop it! It's enough."
I love that. That's like to a lesser extent. You know my rule that there has never been a movie made that could not be improved by the inclusion of Batman.
I'm Batman.
I mean, that's true.
Every movie. I mean, just imagine in this movie. Just throw Batman in there.
Batman, I mean, he would have been in his element fighting an evil clown in a cave.
Hey,
This-
Pennywise, I believe that if I punch the hell out of you, you'll die.
Pennywise, I'm not wearing a clown suit.
Do you bleed? Do you bleed? You will. Oh, God. Do
No,
you
but-
bleed?
But he would have been, Bruce Wayne would have been having all these visions of his parents getting shot in that alley at least
Well,
20
yeah,
times because
yeah.
Pennywise would have been terrorizing him with that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you mix movies though. Like if this was also in the Predator universe, I think Predator would go, "Why do I work so hard? These guys are easy to kill."
Yeah. And you could have killed them all when they were young kids. Like,
Yeah.
it just... At the same time, though, I mean, it's a whole team of them. So you would think that they would be able to gang up on the clown faster than they do, but nah.
Yeah.
And then they don't even do it in a very organized fashion. They take 2 pieces of silver, a slingshot, and they've got Eddie's inhaler.
Yeah.
They don't arm themselves with anything other than
there's not that one
That's
kid
it.
going, "I believe if I use this shotgun, it'll kill you."
Yes, because I was about to say, you don't have to believe in that weapon to make it work.
exactly. Yeah.
Seriously. And then Bev, my favorite character ever, goes back to her childhood home. And I've got a thing. I think Pennywise messes with her harder than he messes with really anybody because
Yeah,
she's the
I
one who
agree.
technically defeated him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say so.
yeah,
Also,
yeah.
well, they all had, a lot of them had pretty crappy parents, but she probably had the worst parent out of all of them.
Yeah, because her dad was abusive and
Yeah.
smacked her around and like basically treated her like she was a hussy.
Well,
which she grew up to be. So
in the book and the remake, obviously this can't dive into it as much. The dad gets a little touchier.
oh, does he?
Yeah,
That's unfortunate.
it's
Thanks,
really-
Stephen King.
Yeah.
Well, and you said on the previous episode, it sort of filters through the parents and affects them too and makes them treat the children badly, right?
Yeah, that's accurate.
Because that's what we discussed with Billy when Georgie's little photo winked at him and then it filled up with blood and his parents were mad at him. They're like, "What are you doing in Georgie's room? Don't ever come in here again." It's like, it's my
Yeah.
brother's bedroom. What's
Yeah.
the problem?
Yeah.
I
And
don't
then
know.
and then also in the remake when Georgie's being attacked by Pennywise in the sewer, an old woman goes out, sees it, and then she just turns around and goes back into her house without saying a thing.
Nope.
Nope.
She just took a
Didn't
look and
see a
said,
thing.
"Oh, well, thin the herd."
Yeah. Yeah. Little bastards. That'll teach you to ride your bike on my lawn.
I was just thinking, get off my lawn.
The blood sink.
Yep.
You'll
yeah.
die if you try.
The Mothman is down there. Oh,
I
wait,
know,
wrong
yeah,
movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't,
It's
don't
injured.
do it.
It's injured Cole.
But yeah, she goes in and checks out the bathroom because that's, the most poignant memory she has, I suppose, of Pennywise is because when your sink fills up with, gallons and gallons of
Yeah.
blood, it's not really something that's going to leave your mind.
These people are really committed to the idea of just winging it. I mean, they're just I'm going to go over here. It's going to be fighting Pennywise is a very organic process. For
Yeah,
them.
it's
You
a
know,
very...
let's just do what comes natural. Come on,
It sticks to
you
the
know?
horror movie trope of why the hell are you alone? Don't
Right,
go anywhere
yeah.
alone, but they all go somewhere alone.
All
Yeah.
of them, yeah.
Yeah.
And particularly dangerous
Let's
places.
split up, gang.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
Scooby Doo. Like that even happened when they were kids. It's a lesson that they didn't.
Nice read, Velma.
Pennywise is Mr. Jenkins.
Would have gotten away with it too.
Wasn't for you, Batman.
Batman.
You're goddamn right.
Yeah. So this is pretty hardcore how Pennywise, because sometimes his psychological terrorism is on point, and other times it's just sort of random, like, oh, here's a skeleton in the water, that's scary. Meanwhile, Beverly goes into her dad's old home, her childhood home, and Pennywise is the old woman that greets her, and she's like, oh, no, your dad died years ago. And somehow Beverly, it struck me as odd because I hadn't watched this movie in so long. I was like, oh, so you just learned just now that your dad died 5 years ago? Like, what? Wouldn't that have reached you through the grapevine somehow, even if you don't speak to him? I don't know. But yeah, the old woman starts decaying right in front of Bev.
The worst mask ever.
Well-
I mean, I had masks as a kid.
Give
for
me back
Halloween
the
that were
truth
better.
tortoise.
Well, it's-
That's what she looks like.
oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, so that, yeah.
Oh, Pennywise, you are funny. I got to give you that. I mean, to be fair to the alien, he did commit himself to the clown part.
really
I mean, he
did.
really
He
really
did.
did.
Yeah, it's commitment right there.
Yeah.
I love how the actor who played her father committed to being a decaying old woman. I
Yes.
love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you almost have a Final Destination moment because Beverly gets chased out of her home by Pennywise as the rotting old lady, and then she almost gets smacked by a box truck in the middle of the street.
And Balloon.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the most
The
80s
hovering
outfit
balloon.
on the planet. She's got the shoulder pads and the jacket with the Elaine Bennis skirt.
And I think that's one thing that separates this movie from movies that are made today, horror movies that are made today, because it's fairly consistent nowadays that when stuff like this happens to you in a horror movie today, there's sort of an awareness. The characters go, okay, weird things are happening. This is like, they don't just keep freaking out.
Yeah.
They go, okay, that was Pennywise. Let's figure out how to kill Pennywise.
Yes, it's it's a problem-solving mentality.
Yeah.
As opposed to them running around and letting stuff happen to them.
Did we change the channel, by the way? Are we on a different show?
Somehow we are. We're back with Billy's wife because they work on a movie together. He's the writer and she's like the producer or something. And
A horror writer husband. Keep that in mind.
yeah. Because, he does write scary stories now, and he's a big movie writer, but their director, or one of the executives on the movie, is
Like
threatening
Stephen
to fire
King.
Bill.
Why does every guy in this have a ponytail?
I don't know.
Because
I
it's
don't know.
1990, and we still had that awesome ponytail wave
I
going
think
on.
you either had to have a ponytail or a mustache. It was one or the other.
Both was unacceptable. That's,
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do no. That was just going.
You
too
could do a
far.
mullet.
What's that
and a
Mitch
mustache.
Hedberg? That Mitch Hedberg joke. You have too many cranium accessories. But yeah, so we go back to Bill's wife, who's got an accent that I just cannot place. I think I mentioned that on the last episode.
She's from lots of different places.
She's from all over.
I remember that actress. She was Juliet, the old Romeo and Juliet movie from the 60s.
Oh my God, is that Olivia Hussey?
That's Olivia Hussey.
Oh my God, it is.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I did not recognize her. But you're totally right. That definitely looks like her. I'd have to double check. Are you sure that's her?
I'm 90% sure.
Cool. Yeah, the Leonard Whiting version. I
Yeah.
totally remember that.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. With Basil Exposition as Tybalt, King of Cats.
Yes.
Basil Exposition. It looks like someone hit it with an ugly stick. But yeah, so naturally, the first thing you do, gang, when you're reuniting with old friends is go out to dinner. Especially if there's a murderous clown on the loose who's mentally terrifying all of you. I don't understand all this downtime they have with all of these activities.
Well, because you got this dope-ass fortune cookie scene, and you have to have
Oh,
that.
yeah. It
It's
kind of reminded me of
awesome.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, it's totally
when the shrimp
Beetlejuice-ish.
turn into hands and grab them by the face.
Yeah, I almost expected Beetlejuice to come out of the corner. It's showtime.
Yeah, like Tim Curry appears in the corner.
Oh.
Deo!
I want to see Beetlejuice and Tim Curry Pennywise team up together.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think Beetlejuice would probably after a while just get tired of Pennywise.
Probably.
It's like, is this it? This is all you do?
Be like, look, this is a little dark. You're not actually getting rid of any of
Come
these
on,
kids,
Pennywise,
man.
let's go get laid. Wait,
They actually kind of have similar voices if you think about
They
it.
do, yeah.
It's very gruff.
Michael Keaton is Pennywise. I'd
I
pay,
can see-
I'd pay to see
I can
that.
see both of these
Yeah.
actors switching roles.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no questions asked.
Oh, it's kind of like
Yeah.
on Lethal Weapon, how you're telling me Harrison Ford and Bruce Willis were considered.
Yeah.
For
John
Harrison
McClane.
Ford. Yeah, John
For
McClane.
which movie?
For Die Hard.
Oh, yeah.
Harrison
Yeah.
Ford was considered, and so was Mel Gibson in lieu of Bruce Willis.
Yeah,
and
Arnold
Jason was like,
Schwarzenegger.
"Oh, really?"
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me either. But Jason was like, they should have made all three of them. And I was like, yeah, it'd be like A Star is Born, but, for dudes. So I could totally see that swap with Buster Keaton, Beetlejuice. I don't know where that came from.
Now I want to see that movie.
the silent movie version of it.
Silent Stephen King's It.
That's a Buster Keaton routine waiting to happen. Oh, God. And that was such an overdramatic feint. Beverly walks into the Chinese restaurant and just
Oh, that's the
passes
one
out.
thing that's overdramatic?
Yeah.
It's one of the many things. How about that?
What about Stanley's wife?
I mean, it wasn't just drama for drama's sake. If your husband's dead in a bathtub, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a dramatic
That's
moment.
fair.
But Beverly walks into the Chinese restaurant and she's just overwhelmed. And just wilts down to the floor. And of course, all 6 boys go to catch her.
She's mine.
Yeah, for real.
Aren't you married? It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We're in Derry.
I'm not that married.
What
I mean,
happens
I'm a
in
little
Derry
married.
Stays in Derry.
Evidently so. And of course, like, you think that she's in love with Bill. Because she always thought, did we discuss this on the first episode where
Yeah.
Ben was in love with Beverly when they were kids?
Because he wrote the poem for her. and she was always checking out Bill on his bike.
She thought it was Bill who wrote the poem for her, and he wound up being the writer. So it sort of makes sense.
It makes sense that she would think that.
Yeah, so she's still at this. Yeah, she just smooched Bill, smack on the mouth. She didn't kiss any of the other guys that way. That's the thing. It's just like, okay, Beverly, just you see the wedding ring on his finger.
And
right?
Bill's the only one who's married, isn't he?
Yeah, Stanley was, but then he died. So yeah, I think Bill's the only one who's married
Stanley doesn't count anymore.
to Juliet from Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And then Eddie, looking like Willem Dafoe, with that,
Wheezy.
yeah, just wheezing in the corner with his little professor glasses. But yeah, they're all just chilling at the Chinese restaurant. And they're just talking, and oh my god, as soon as I cross the line, like they sort of get into why their memories suddenly become clear, because for Eddie it was different. Like he's like, as soon as I crossed the line and came back to town, everything came rushing back to me. Whereas with Bill and Stanley, it only took a phone call from Mike.
Right.
And the same with Beverly. She had the clarifying moment, I think, with her boyfriend when he was about to Christian Grey her with like a whip or something.
Yeah.
So she's into all sorts of weird stuff.
Todd. But yeah.
Oh
Todd.
yeah, the boy. There was
every douchebag's name is Todd.
Todd back in the 90s.
In the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
It's a thing.
Does anyone know where we can get a Proton pack?
Just don't cross
I would
the
have come.
streams.
Why did not a single one of them bought a gun on the way there?
Not one.
Yeah,
I would have come locked and loaded
Yeah.
to Derry.
Again, Linda Hamilton.
Yeah, Linda Hamilton style.
she even had the sunglasses to make that gun
Exactly.
look
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
God, guys.
God, you guys had so much time.
Yeah, You've got 30 years to prepare.
30 years.
Well, not if they forgot.
Well,
so.
yeah, that's
you
true.
still had
Yeah.
like a week.
Yeah.
Harry Anderson is the Shaggy of this crew because he's the one who's like, zoinks, guys, let's get the hell out of here. Why are we still here? It's just, he's so not down for this
He
mission.
does have that great line, though, breathing in that old dairy air.
Yeah.
I know what we'll do. We'll use my American Express card to buy a plane ticket to leave. Take this, Pennywise. I'm going to Italy.
Yeah.
Where apparently you can't go, even though you're a space traveling demon.
Yeah,
right?
but
Pennywise
there's
is
rules.
stuck in Derry. Yeah,
there's
they're
rules.
they're arbitrary as hell, but yeah, there are rules.
Yeah. What is he like? Is he still on his probation period for whatever company he works for? We're gonna send you to this little town called Derry.
He asked for too many favors from the Death DMV.
Yeah.
just like the Maitlands, and he's out of favor, so he's stuck in his. He's stuck where
wouldn't
he
it have made more sense to go to like Brooklyn?
You would think so.
You know.
Yeah.
There are more sewers there.
Why
Yeah.
would it be a small town with a population of 100 people?
Right, yeah.
It makes no sense.
Well, it's like those detective stories you were telling me about, Jason, where you're like, it's always murders happening in a town
Right,
of 15 people.
Yeah.
And nobody can figure out who the killer is.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, who is it? Was somebody I read that once? They said if Miss Marple, Father Brown, Inspector Morse, and somebody else took a vacation in Midsummer, the streets would run red with blood. Because that's how it is in those shows. You have all these people together. People are going to be dropping like flies.
Yep. Exactly.
Is this another montage of a cheesy old song and they're happy?
Yeah, because it's you got soul and everybody knows that it's all right.
I wish
and
they
it's
would
like,
cut-
no, it's not all right.
I wish they
it's
would
not
cut
right
to-
at all.
Yeah, killer clown.
I wish they would cut to Pennywise, though, sitting and just like tapping his foot, going, Jesus Christ, guys, come on. I mean, 30 years, I
You
get
came
it,
here to
but, I mean,
fight me.
you
I'm
know,
right here.
Yeah. Hello.
You guys are
killer
eating
clown.
Chinese food and talking about riding bikes.
Right, yeah. I wish I wasn't allergic to MSG.
I love that little joke they have about marriage. So, how about you, Ben? You married yet? Nah, dodged the bullet a couple of times.
I like how Pennywise here is like, I'm going to remind you that I'm still a problem, so fortune cookies.
Yeah.
Well, because like I said, it's so Stand By Me, and it's just like old friends getting together and memories and stuff. But there are pressing matters, people. Get on
but
it.
the kids in Stand By Me didn't deal with an evil clown.
Yeah, the
so
body was already...
Yeah, that's true.
It was just a body.
They just had Kiefer Sutherland on their tail the whole time.
Oh, Kiefer Sutherland. Have your people call our people. We want you to guest star on Lost Boys. It'll be great.
That would be amazing.
That
would be.
that would be amazing.
At least get Alex Winter.
But I mean, yeah. As far as bad guys go, I mean, even the Lost Boys, they were more proactive.
Oh, yeah. They
know.
didn't stop.
Yeah,
No. They were there every night.
They took some rough hits
they-
along the way, but
There
they
we
made
go.
it happen.
If he had gone to the town where Red Dawn happened, that's the movie I want to see.
Wolverines!
Yeah. I believe.
You mean the bad guys in Lethal Weapon?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Episode idea? I don't know.
And that kid grew up to be Martin Riggs,
Martin Riggs.
which would explain a lot.
It did.
Actually, it would.
It still doesn't explain the hair.
No.
Nothing does.
Well, his hair's better than half the hairs
Well,
in that
but
table.
maybe Riggs got his hair from one of his suicide attempts. He stuck his finger in an electrical socket. That's where it came from.
Juniper Hills, the lovely correctional facility.
And
Yes, because
it's-
Henry
it's-
Bowers is in a psychiatric facility.
And
after
the clown was in the moon. I absolutely hate this subplot, by the way, where Henry Bowers is old and gets broken out of the psychiatric facility and goes after the kid. I don't know. It seems unnecessary. to me.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because Pennywise suddenly takes a very passive approach to murdering the not Magnificent Seven, the Lucky Seven.
The Lucky Seven, the Loser Club, whatever
Loser
you want to
Club,
call them.
whatever.
The Losery Seven.
Yeah, so Pennywise was killing kids directly. Like he ripped Georgie's arm off. He murdered that little girl in the beginning of the movie. He's killing these children himself.
Look,
it's not like he's putting these machinations into place.
Pennywise has a supervisor. He's got numbers at the end of the month. He's got to justify
quota.
all this crap. So he outsourced a bit of it. Contract work. It happens.
Suppose.
Oh, here we are at the fortune cookie scene. This scene is actually pretty awesome. Some of the best practical effects I've seen. I love all the monsters that come out of the fortune cookies.
And I love that Richie came all the way back to town from LA just to tell them that he's not going to participate
Hey, by
in this
the way-
clown hunt.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm out.
Yeah, it's nothing to be ashamed of. No shit.
Why'd you come back then? It just doesn't make any sense.
Yes, I'm well aware of it. There's nothing wrong with being scared of a homicidal alien demon clown. I get that.
I just came for the Chinese
Logic.
food, guys.
Yeah, they don't have Chinese food in LA, so
Yeah.
he had a hankering for some Chinese food in
See,
Derry, Maine.
Pennywise should just go to L.A. I mean, if he was in Santa Monica, nobody would even notice.
This is
you
true.
know?
That would be
very
interesting.
true.
That would be
Yeah.
interesting if Pennywise
Or-
followed you wherever you went.
Yeah, or whatever town John Wayne Gacy lived in. The real Pennywise.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, because Tim Curry said something to the effect of like, "I think I'm the reason why so many people are scared of clowns to
You
this day." I'm
think?
like, I don't know. John Wayne Gacy did a pretty bitchin'
Yeah.
job at that.
Yeah, to be honest with
I'd
you,
say
yeah,
so.
And didn't that predate this movie? So I'm pretty sure.
Well, and John Wayne Gacy, have you ever heard the stories about the house that he, did his crimes in and the people who lived there afterwards?
I don't think so.
There's a show, I don't know if it's still on the air, and to be fair, a lot of it is hokum, but
Sure.
A haunting. And they did an episode on the house, and it is crazy how haunted that house was. But I want to stop talking about that because
We've got the
the
fortune cookie
amazing
scene.
practical
The
effect,
awesome
and they
fortune
are
cookie.
really.
The baby chick.
Oh, that's terrible.
Isn't that gross?
It looks like one of the
Yeah.
dinosaurs being born on Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
Calling
it's all
David
slimy.
Lynch.
I
calling
like
David
I like
Lynch.
how Beverly opens hers first, blood pops out, and they all continue to open their fortune
Yeah.
cookies.
Yeah, that is.
Some of them are moving on their own, and
One's got a cockroach, one's got an eyeball in it.
the
Yeah.
other has a spider.
Like a
Something with
cockroach came out of
claws.
it, and then
Claw
one had
thingy.
claws.
It almost looked like a hermit crab of
Yeah.
sorts.
Yeah.
And then Bill's.
Oh,
Oh,
this-
Bill's has the spider.
This one has
That's
the
what it
spider
is.
leg coming out. Ooh.
Yeah.
Can we get some more fortune cookies though? Because these are bad.
Hey,
And I
you
really
can take
did
these.
actually want a fortune cookie.
Yeah.
There's no fortune in this cookie.
Did Pennywise
A ripoff.
tamper with your cookies again?
Well, and the waitress comes in.
How
and
you
she's
like our special cookies?
Yeah.
This happens once a week. No biggie.
Yeah.
What problem? What problem? Like she runs it.
the Yelp review is going to be scathing.
Oh, this is 1990. The internet
Owl
doesn't exist
hooting.
yet.
So the newspaper review.
The Urus residence.
Is this the library? Yeah, it's the library.
Yeah, they're back at the library, and Harry's showing them, I guess, or not Harry, Richie's showing them where all the balloons popped earlier, I guess, from when he
Okay.
was there,
Yeah.
because there's just blood all over the place,
There's
and then
paint everywhere.
Dramatic music.
and then Beverly has a flashback to the very bloody
Sink.
bathroom scene, yeah, and the blood just won't scrape off.
I like how I think when she cleans the blood, more just
Yeah,
oozes out.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't be using the sponge that was coated in blood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're convening at the library now. It doesn't matter where they go. Pennywise can haunt them pretty much anywhere. Don't
Oh no, Cincinnati.
yeah, go there.
Ha! I've got you, Pennywise. I mean,
Oh, that was a sad moment, though. Sorry to interrupt
No,
you,
no,
Jason.
no, go ahead.
Richie, they're ragging on Stanley because they don't know why he hasn't joined them in Derry.
Oh.
And Richie goes, "Oh, he's a dead man. We all managed to show up, not realizing he had literally killed himself about an hour before."
yeah.
Oh yeah. This is when they see his head in the fridge.
Yeah, because they're calling him right now to basically give him guff about, "Hey, we're all here. Where the hell are you?"
Yeah,
And,
wuss.
Stanley's dead, guys. And then it's just, that was actually a pretty powerful scene, though, with his head in the fridge, because he's just guilt tripping the hell out of them.
I think Harry Anderson's might be ad-libbing this scene.
Yeah,
very
I
possible.
heard that he ad-libbed a lot of his
Yeah,
jokes.
it feels like it. Well, he was a stand-up. He was a close-up magician.
Yeah, he had that improv under his belt for sure.
Lived in Asheville, which anybody who chooses to retire and move to Asheville
This is where Richie
cool.
feels like a complete dick.
Yeah, Stan is dead.
He's like, oh, I take back all those jokes I just ad-libbed.
Oh. Wait, Stan? Not Kenny? Oh. He cut his wrist, and for some reason it didn't bleed very much, but he still died.
See, Mike's the one who I think is
He had
the
good
most-
handwriting though.
Yeah, great handwriting.
Yeah.
But he left off the exclamation
No
point.
punctuation.
Though,
Was he, though?
so, half-assed it even.
Didn't
in the
even
end.
emphasize that it was it.
Yeah. This makes my ponytail hurt.
No, that's the source of all of Bill's power. His ponytail.
He cuts his hair. He's weak.
I believe my ponytail will defeat you.
Just whip him
Mustache
in the face with it.
power.
Why didn't they dig into that more? If you believe anything that can be a weapon, why didn't they dig into that way more?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Like, this feather is acidic.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Or stick to the, plain weapons like you guys were saying, because I don't have to believe a bullet is going to tear this guy in half.
No,
it's
yeah.
just going to.
I believe that this hand grenade will explode you.
Well, this is what I don't necessarily. One of the many things I don't understand about this movie is the bike. Like, why there must be more to it in the book. Sorry, because he's like, that book saved the bicycle saved Stanley's life that day, because Stanley is the only one who didn't. He saw Pennywise much later than the rest of the team, right? He was the last one of the kids to actually see him.
Yeah, he was the last one to believe in Pennywise.
Okay, yeah.
But I think Bill believes that this bike has like crazy fast speed powers.
Hey, if you believe it, it's true.
If you
Apparently,
believe
those
it,
are the rules
it
of
can
the
get
movie.
him away from anything.
I
so.
just realized, because we have the subtitles on here, just imagine, and you at home can do this, just put the movie on and turn the subtitles on. Just turn the sound off and imagine that all of the subtitles are being sung by John Mellencamp. And it
Little
totally,
ditty. That
it totally
small
works.
town
Yeah, it absolutely works.
God.
Eerie music. He
Said he didn't mean to go into that house.
Yes. The voice
This voice kept whispering to him.
God.
Oh my God, we should do a musical.
Okay. That's the play we should do.
Yeah,
Right?
on ice.
It'll write itself.
Yes, that needs to be a thing.
But okay, so I've got a question for each of you. There's, I think I mentioned it previously, but there's a meme floating around on the internet where it shows, this is how it lured me into the sewer. Mm-hmm. And for me, I mentioned that he would probably get me if he was like, hey, Darth, DragonCon is still going on down here. I'd be like, all right, let's go. So that's how I would get lured into the sewer. What could Pennywise tempt you guys with to get you to crawl into a dank, dark sewer?
Hiya, Adam. There's no student debt or credit card loans or there's a bunch of debt-free fun down here.
That doesn't sound like a young Adam thing. That's a very grown up request.
Social commentary.
All right, Jason, how about you?
Hey, you know that David Lynch cut of Dune that
Oh,
never got
Jesus.
released? We got it down here.
How did
you
I
can
know?
watch it.
How did I know?
It's not pure garbage.
Yeah, because we discussed what we would
Either
see.
that or boobs.
You can't get those without crawling into a sewer? How desperate are you,
No, I'm
man?
just saying. I mean, if he's like,
I wouldn't mind seeing that sad clown movie that Jerry Lewis made
Oh,
that
yeah.
never got released.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, Lord.
it goes with clowns, so.
Yeah,
It
that's
does.
true.
It's in keeping. And we discussed, too, like, what we would see
A
in...
satisfying ending to Twin Peaks.
or Game of Thrones, either or.
Oh.
Shots fired. But Yeah, so because we did talk about what we would see in the Deadlights, and my answer has changed in less than a week, fellas.
wow.
Something traumatic happened to me last week, and it actually goes back to our production of Much Ado About Nothing. I had a stage nightmare, which
Ooh.
both of you are also actors, so I know you're familiar with that concept of. But with me, stage nightmares typically happen leading up to and immediately
Yeah.
after a show.
Yep.
I didn't really have that many. I only had one or two before the show, but then last week. I had the worst stage nightmare that Jason, our director of Much Ado, added another showing, and he changed the play to a Rocky Horror musical style show.
I love that.
First of all, he tells everybody in the cast about it except for me. So I've got a song that I've got to know and lines that I don't know, and I show up and my costume is like this pirate skirt and then a see-through top. It's very Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I was
Right.
like, aren't my parents coming to this? I don't want to wear this in front of them. And so we're leading up to that, and nobody told me when the show was, so I missed the first act, which you can't even do without Beatrice. So that was the disaster.
Oh, God.
Then we had changed the scene with Hero in the church to her being disgraced at a dinner table instead, which was fine. But then I was expected to sing a solo song about her dismay and everything that was happening to her. And everyone in the cast was kind of urging me, like, go sing, Darth. Like, it's your cue. And I was just like, I don't know the words. So I started making them up. And then my phone alarm starts going off, and I'm trying to turn it off, and everything's going wrong. And then Adam Brown's...
I hate dreams like this.
No, it was a train wreck. Adam Brown's phone rings, and he goes, oh my God, Jade is absolutely bombing. She's horrible at this. She's ruining the show. And then you, Jason, storm onto the show, on the stage with a full Elizabethan costume with a big white collar. And you're like, I know, I can see it from here. I'm taking over as Beatrice. And I was trying to lighten the moment. And I
That's
said,
weird. I would, because in reality, I would dress like a Victorian. So that's how you knew it was a dream.
But I was trying to lighten the moment. I go, won't you look silly in the see-through top? And you were like, this isn't a time for jokes, Darth. And you kicked me off the stage. It was horrifying.
That's a terrible dream.
Oh my God.
So I have officially changed my answer. That is what I would see if I were to look into the Deadlights.
Okay, so what is
Would you turn into Billy Idol?
Oh yeah, I would.
Nice
Yeah,
day
no
to
questions
kill
asked.
some
Yeah.
kids.
So what happens when you the Deadlights? Explain them to me again.
Isn't that, I think Adam actually explained it to us last time. It's just
Yeah.
it's all of it's
Your
fear
worst.
at its utmost. Yeah.
Oh,
All your
okay.
fears hitting you as in like a wave at once, and it's just completely overwhelming you to the point where you're just frozen in fear.
Almost like Dementors, where it just
Right.
leaves you completely powerless and it just shows you your very worst fears in all of time and space.
Yeah.
I could say, okay, all right.
So that's what got Stanley, actually, because he was, like Adam was saying, he was the last one to see Pennywise and believe in him.
He sees his ghost.
And he just, what is it that what form did Pennywise take when he scared Stanley as a kid? He's coming down the stairs and
He's like a mummy, but he's still
Yeah.
got some of his clown outfit, so it's like
Yeah.
a clown mummy.
well, it's very 50s in that sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's when they were kids,
That's
right?
when they
It
were
was
watching old monster movies, so
Yeah.
it makes complete sense.
So that's why Richie's scared of the werewolf and Stanley's afraid of the mummy.
And then
yeah.
he believes that holding the bird book in front of him and saying the bird names will scare Pennywise away.
I guess it's like his Patronus. He's like putting
Yeah.
some happiness out
Yeah,
there, like
yeah.
expecto Cardinal Blue Jays, like I don't-
Vulture, Raven.
Well, I mean, look, let's be honest. I mean, watching this, I think it's like most Stephen King books. About a third of the way through, he kind of forgot what he was writing.
Oh yeah,
And just
that's what that whole bit on Family Guy is, where
Oh,
he's pitching a new book idea to his publicist, and the publicist is like, "All right, Steven, what do you got for me?" And he says, "Oh, it's a haunted lamp." Ooh, and he's like, "Dude, are you even trying anymore?" It's such a mess.
yeah, Stephen King has openly admitted that he has no idea how to end a story.
yeah.
And, and you'll see that later on.
Well, I mean, my favorite author, Neil Stephenson. I mean, that's his big problem, and he admits it too. He doesn't know. He writes great books, terrible endings.
Bummer.
Belch, the return of Belch coming out from under the bed.
Yeah, because now
Really bloody nose.
Yeah, Henry Bowers is being haunted as well in his psychiatric hospital, and I guess he's his friend who got sucked into the pipe by Pennywise is urging him to avenge his death.
Yeah,
by
that's
killing the Lucky Seven.
Yeah.
to me. That's one improvement that the remake, the 2017 version, made. Spoiler: Henry Bowers dies, so we don't have to watch him as an adult
okay.
and watch this whole
Oh,
stupid.
really?
Yeah, I hate this extra storyline.
Well, which is funny that they added that in because apparently the original cut was so much longer.
Yeah.
And they cut a bunch of stuff that would have made the story make more sense as opposed to messing around with this Henry Bowers sideline.
Well, again, it's a TV movie, and so you got to think there were a lot of people putting their 2 cents in about what gets cut. I mean,
oh, yeah.
They cut so much.
yeah, we're going to cut this, we're going to add this, and it's a miracle that it worked out as well as it did.
And it's got to fit into this time slot and just so, yeah. It's kind of what we discussed with Gilmore Girls and Mrs. Maisel. Like, Mrs. Maisel is what Gilmore Girls could have been without all the backlash from producers and executives and all the crap that a network puts a show through. I think this movie had
Right.
well, and that's why they remade it. I haven't seen the remake because I'm not really into scary movies.
I mean,
but-
that's
really
why.
good.
That's why
I've
Joe.
heard that.
Yeah, that's why Joe Straczynski left the Real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. You know, because it was too much studio influence.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
Oh yeah,
that makes
big time.
sense though.
Yeah, they were very pro Slimer. He was anti Slimer. It was a whole thing.
Oh, and
Oh, is
Corey-
that why Slimer was a character in the cartoon?
Mm-hmm.
I always
Yeah.
hated that. I hated that.
So did Straczynski. He his favorite episodes were the ones he wrote where he tortured Slimer. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he told me that, which is sad because Slimer was supposed to be sort of symbolic of John Belushi.
Yeah,
He was, yeah.
He was
yeah.
the
In the
animal-
in the movie, in the cartoon,
Yeah,
it
okay.
ended up being.
He was more just poking holes in.
That was a great.
their
We
boat.
got to do that show. I mean, that was a cartoon I watched as a kid. That was the first time I ever found out who Cthulhu was. Was in
yeah?
the Real Ghostbusters. You know.
That's great. Well, and okay, so we see Henry Bowers, his psychiatric nurse, is a complete bully who's threatening him, and he's like, "Your head's gonna be bouncing off the floor, Henry," and just screaming
Yeah.
at him. But then Pennywise appears to protect Henry from the nurse and appears as a clown that turns into a Rottweiler and attacks the nurse.
Yeah, he's a werewolf clown. No, not a werewolf, a Rottweiler.
Rottweiler
yeah,
clown.
it's a
Close
dog.
enough.
Basically, what they did was they took Tim Curry's clown costume and just
They
shoved
shoved
the
the
dog's
dog in
head through it, and
Jump out of it, Rover.
The poor dog had no idea what was going on.
no
It
idea.
just,
he
you
was
know,
pissed. That's why he was barking. And
Yeah.
yeah.
I wonder what his stage
I'm gonna
name
fire
is.
my agent.
I wonder if he was represented by the same person like Burbank the cat and
Yeah.
Cleo the cat from the Mummy. Who knows? But yeah, so okay, we're at yet another location. All the Lucky Seven has joined up at a hotel, which once again we're just sort of sitting around. It looks like they're finally doing some research, looking into the origin of Pennywise. Maybe.
Guys, we got a clown to kill.
Oh right, we all came back for a reason.
Is there a gun store in Derry?
I'm thinking not.
Again, perfect opportunity for Pennywise to just pop into the hotel room.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he can
yeah.
go
He
anywhere.
can go
That's-
anywhere he wants at any time, and he shows up when they're ready to kill him.
Yeah, and that's what
Yeah.
I still don't understand that bit about him even using Henry because Henry's just he's just a little cog in the machine. It's like you could kill them easily enough on your own.
Wait a minute. Are you implying that Stephen King might not be a great writer? is that
How dare you,
Is that
sir?
possible that
Oh,
there are
God.
like problems with his books? I'm not a big Stephen King fan.
He's a god.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Stephen King. I think he's got a lot. He's great at coming up with cool concepts.
Yes.
He just cannot always execute them.
Yeah.
It's hit or miss with
Yeah.
Stephen King.
I think Stephen King, I agree completely. As far as conceptually goes,
Right.
I mean, it would be so cool to sit up at night and have some beers and just like come up with scary shit
Yeah.
with Stephen King.
Oh, it'd be
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be the best.
But isn't that true? You know, I've heard that about Stephen King that, and this might be completely just made up, but I heard that the reason he writes is because he is like, he'll get scared of something.
I thought I heard that he dreams all of his concepts.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Huh.
that's what
Okay.
I thought I
Yeah.
heard.
I didn't know that.
Stuff he's scared of that pops up in his brain.
Yeah. And it's like he writes it to make it, it's not scary anymore if I write it out. And
Yeah, it's therapy for him. And I always liked how Stephen King, something I really respect about the man is he treats writing like it's a day job. He wakes up, starts writing at 9 a.m. He takes a 1 hour lunch break, stops writing at 5 p.m. I love that. That's
yeah,
really
that's cool.
cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Well, because if you don't treat it like an actual job, I mean, it's tough for people to manage their own time largely because you're used to a 9 to 5 job structure where somebody's telling you to do something. It's
Right.
hard to make yourself do that kind of work.
Agreed.
It takes a lot of willpower and concentration. But
Yeah, no, something that always back to the fact that Pennywise could literally pop up anywhere. When I was a kid and I watched this movie, I always had nightmares that Pennywise I would open my eyes and Pennywise would be standing over me in my bed.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, wow, he could actually do that in the movie, and he never does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that would be the perfect time.
Or like Pennywise could cut the brakes in their car.
Yeah.
You know, I've, I put a car bomb in your car. Ha ha ha, I'm evil.
Oh, see, that's more of a Mothman way to go about things.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it-
true,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or Final Destination.
I kind of want to watch Mothman Prophecies again now.
We could do
after
that.
watching this.
I need to watch this. I've never heard of this.
It's
It's a Richard Gere movie.
It's a movie that I will not say it's good or bad, because it's one of those movies that if somebody goes and watches it and they come back and they say, "Hey, I really liked it," I go, "Cool, let's talk."
Yeah.
And if they come back and they say that movie sucked, I hated it, I'd probably go, "Cool, let's talk."
Yeah.
I totally understand.
It could go one or it could really go one
Yeah.
or the other. But I can see both arguments.
Yeah,
for
I
it.
can't. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I can too. Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of this movie is so much sitting around, and it didn't feel like that when I was
Yes.
a kid.
No.
Yeah,
Because we all remembered the clown.
Yeah, part two is a lot like the old Burt I. Gordon horror movies. Burt I. Gordon, and he made movies around the Corman. He was before
Corman's
Corman.
College.
Yeah, and he didn't go as long as Corman, but like in Burt I. Gordon horror movies, it's always you're going to see the characters walking and discussing what's going on, because the script wasn't that full, and they would just, let's just have the characters walk through this valley and talk about the monster,
Yeah.
And I think, in fairness, we talk about people taking books that are 1,000 pages and condensing them into a 90-minute or a 2-hour movie.
Sure.
But the truth is, I think you could probably take it and condense it into something shorter, and
You didn't even really need the deadlights.
No.
You didn't really need a lot of what is happening in this movie. You could have shortened it.
You could have
very
taken
easily.
out. I haven't read the entire book, but I got about 300 to 400 pages in, and there are literally pages and pages of just going through the history of Derry as a town, just like who used to work there, and how it started, like stuff I really didn't care about.
Well, you make choices. That's if you've ever seen the movie Wonder Boys. What's her name? Who's married to Tom Cruise? Katie Holmes. She's in that movie with Michael Douglas, and Michael Douglas is her writing professor at her college, and she goes, "Grady, you know how you say that writing is about making choices? Well, you get into the genealogies of everybody's horses in this book, and like the backstory of literally everything, and it just reads like you didn't make any choices."
Right.
And that this story this movie makes me think about that.
Well, I mean, when I was in film school, I had this.
Beverly's getting a shoulder rub down from John Ritter.
Yeah,
over
which,
there.
by the way, what just happened? What just happened to her with looking into the deadlights and all that?
So Bill's wife
Bill's wife
Went to the
follows
gas
him.
station.
Yeah, she follows him to Derry.
Yeah.
Because he just suddenly leaves and doesn't explain why he's leaving.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Which
she
would make
follows
any
him.
wife very suspicious.
Yeah, I'm mildly concernicus about this.
No, it's okay, honey. I'm here because of a murderous space clown.
Not because
And
I'm
Beverly.
sleeping with my childhood friend. Yeah. So, oh my God, it's so obvious how much Ben is in love with Beverly. It's kind of cute, but still. Anyway, yeah. So Olivia Hussey, the wife, she drives to Derry, and the gas station attendant where she pulls over for directions or something.
Yeah.
He morphs into Pennywise, because that's the motive. Is suddenly messing with this new person as opposed to destroying these kids who have come
Did he
back.
kill
to
her? What did he do?
He showed her the deadlights.
Yeah.
So she goes insane, actually.
But that's her fault, because if a seemingly normal person starts asking you if you want a balloon, you just drive the
drive
hell
away.
away.
Yeah.
Drive the hell out of there.
Get the hell out of there.
Run fast and run hard.
What I was going to say, though, is in film school, I had this crusty old teacher who was like Anthony Bourdain, only much fouler.
Oh,
I mean, this guy, his lectures, half of every lecture was the word fuck.
I love it.
And his whole thing was, when you would suggest something to him in a movie, we're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And he would go, what's the fucking motivation? and if you couldn't justify it, it was like, well, I want to do this cool camera angle. Why? Why is it motivated?
Yeah.
It looks cool. No, you're not doing it. And I think that's sort of the, when you look at really, really good directors, when you look at, Scorsese or Spielberg or things like that, there's very little in their movies that's just, well, Spielberg nowadays, I don't know, that's a little different, but it's like, there's very little that's there where you go, why is this here? What is the point of
Everything has meaning. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you've only got so much time. Now, the flip side to that is, On TV, it's not like with a movie where you've got a range of running times.
Right.
It could be 2 hours, maybe it could be a little less, a little more. This is a TV movie. You got 2 episodes.
You got to fit it into a specific time
Yeah,
slot.
so
yeah.
what is that? 180 minutes. You got to give me 180 minutes of movie.
Right.
So
3 hours.
yeah, it's it's going to be different. And so, I can see that, but it does get a little weird, some of the things that they add in where you're just like, oh, okay.
It's almost got that feel that Caddyshack did, where it's like, okay, this is all strung together by
Yeah.
the through line
Yeah.
of the clown.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
the director Tommy Lee Wallace has said multiple times that he thinks the second part of this miniseries is way weaker,
Oh, yeah.
and almost everybody who watches this agrees.
Yeah. Well, and also back then, the idea of a TV movie, there was really no concept that people were going to go back and watch it again.
Yeah, because back in
Yeah.
1990, I mean, yeah, you just,
Yeah.
caught it.
Yeah,
I
get
caught it on
'em-
TV, it was cool.
Exactly. Get them there the whole time. They watch all the all the commercials.
And then it
we
goes
made
away.
our money. Yeah, there we go. We're good.
Ratings,
Yeah,
and
ratings,
they
and that's it.
might rerun it once or twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this weird moment that we just passed, guys. Beverly is so weird because they're sitting in the living room of this hotel, and John Ritter is sitting behind her on a couch, rubbing her shoulders. But then, he starts petting her face, and she's rubbing her face against his hands like a dog. It's so weird. Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah.
The one smart maneuver they do after that, though, is Beverly's like, oh, I'm chilly. And so 3 men, because it's a 3-man job, go up to get a coat for her.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is a smart maneuver because they
Three-
go together.
Three men
job.
and a suede vest.
3 men in a suede vest.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, John Ritter has a suede
Oh, he
vest on.
does.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that is a
that
sweet-ass
That
vest.
counts as another
Is it
man.
suede or is it leather?
Coming soon to ABC, 3 men in a suede vest.
Starring the suede vest from TV's It.
And John Ritter's beard.
And the whole thing,
yeah.
they're like, okay, let's go to our rooms, get our coats, leave the doors open. And, that's a good idea, but then...
Why are we getting our coats? It's not really that cold.
Well, Beverly
Maybe
was
if
cold,
we just
but
closed the windows,
maybe that would help. But then you find...
Oh, Henry
yep,
Bowers!
Henry Bowers stabs
Henry Bowers
Mike.
attack!
This is a very soap opera-y moment.
That
right
sounded
here.
like Henry Bowers.
It's very... Yeah.
Henry?
Am I hearing a struggle in the room next door to mine?
Oh, and he used the N-word. Now I don't like you.
Yeah.
Now
you're officially a villain.
Murder is one thing, sir.
But racism...
But that is uncalled for.
inexcusable. But yeah, poor Mike gets stabbed in the chest.
That's all Henry Bowers does, and then he dies.
Yeah.
What was the point of this?
Yeah.
Oh,
It
good.
did-
You found it.
Kiss me, fat boy.
Oh yeah, this is so messed up.
The thing is, part 2 is way weaker, but it has my favorite Pennywise moments
Which-
for sure.
So the library was one of
The
them.
library scene, the Ben balloon in the taxi, the kiss me fat boy, the fortune cookie scene. Like
Got
a
it.
lot of my favorite scenes are in part 2.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's a clown in this movie. I
Oh,
forgot
yeah.
because it's been so long since we've seen him.
Well, because
He's underground.
exposition.
He's underground right now with the
Yeah.
gopher from Caddyshack.
We were too busy watching montages. Yeah.
He only pops
He's
up.
taking a PTO day.
He only pops up when Bill Murray chases him out of the sewer.
Dude, that's what this movie needs.
Bill Murray, hell yes. No, not Bill Murray. They need Carl specifically, not Bill
Yeah.
Murray. They need Carl,
Carl.
from Caddyshack.
Carl.
Okay,
yeah.
so you see there's this clown, okay?
The
and,
clown appeared like the
The
Dalai
clown-
Lama,
Was it a clown?
and he
Okay.
never tipped me.
It's okay, you got a clown problem, okay? That's an easy problem to fix.
have to think like the clown.
That
Yeah.
that is a great moment because John Ritter's
And then
making
she's
out
got
with
the
Beverly, yeah.
pants.
I love that they inflate like a balloon house or like a bounce house because at first they're just like regular yellow pants, but then the air starts filling them up with.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what I would do if Pennywise tried that shit with me? I'd just plant one on him. Because then he'd be all like, "Whoa, dude! I didn't know. You were supposed to get freaked out, man.
This is not in my rider.
Come on, clown.
Yes, you get to
You
kiss,
like balloon animals?
you get to kiss a fellow actor, and John Ritter thinks that they're talking about Beverly. Oh no, we met Tim Curry.
Even better.
Woo! That's a huge upgrade in my book.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, if I would have that would be my Twitter bio. You know, the guy who kissed Tim Curry.
Tombstone
Yeah,
moment.
Tombstone, yeah. Yeah.
Hashtag tombstone.
Yeah,
moment.
I died, but I did kiss Tim Curry.
I mean, that's how I want to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Mike gets stabbed in the chest and doesn't die. Meanwhile,
doesn't
Henry
die.
Bowers
Well,
gets stabbed in the
'cause
chest and does die.
Mike's a protagonist, which means you
Right.
live.
Yeah.
And Henry is an antagonist, which means he dies.
I don't think we've had that discussion with this Adam. I know we did with the other, with protagonists versus antagonists. So
Yeah.
Is Henry the antagonist because he doesn't change anything?
You're right.
Because he goes to attack Mike, which he was supposed to kill him, but he doesn't
Yeah.
succeed. So he's not technically an antagonist.
Well, I guess that's really the question: is who is changed in this story? You know,
not anyone
I
technically,
don't think anyone
because
does.
as soon as they leave
there's
the
no
town again,
there's no character arc for anybody.
no, there's not.
Yeah.
They all
Not
just
at all.
forget it all
Yeah.
over again.
It's like restarting. It's
Yeah,
like hitting the
yeah.
reset button. Yeah.
They accomplished something. Mike is the only one, I guess, who's
Oh, the West Wing.
Yeah,
Oh, the different West Wing. Sorry.
a little bit.
Oops.
But yeah, the only ones
Crossover.
who really change are
Mr. President.
Ben and Beverly wind up together. They're the only ones who don't forget each other.
Wait, is that a hospital or a hotel?
Both.
Okay.
It's both.
I'm pretty sure they filmed this at a motel.
Yes. But yeah, so then I wouldn't be
don't
alone
eat-
with Beverly again after that. I'd be so freaked out after she transformed into Pennywise that. But now Ben is just sitting there with her, and
Beverly, I need to check your suitcase for the poofy pants.
and a little air pump to inflate the pants. But
Hold me. My vest will comfort you.
it's insulated.
Vest.
Yeah.
Let me
I have
stroke your suede vest.
I have a suede vest, a beard, and cowboy boots, but I'm kissing a girl.
I can't quit you. But yeah, so he's alone with Beverly, and it just does not occur to him until a minute or so into hanging on to her, and she's just like crying in his ear that
It's a John Mellencamp song. I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the credits.
you're not blind
You're not
anymore,
blind
Bev.
anymore, Bev.
Congratulations,
That's
a
a
miracle.
I'm gonna call Ben Folds and say, just watch this and just make it a movie or make it a song. You know.
All these bits that we come up with.
Which, by the way, Ben Folds saw him on Friday.
Yes, I saw the.
How was
the
that?
and I can
Instagram post.
confirm. Ben Folds is like the nicest guy in the world.
Aw,
He-
that's good.
Yeah, we were 8 feet away from the piano bench. We had the
Ooh.
best seats in
That's
the whole
really cool.
goddamn
That's
house.
awesome.
Yeah, and he is like just he
Your
hung
hair
out.
is winter fire.
Yeah, I'm serious.
Sorry.
January embers.
Or is it the clown?
It's me. But yeah,
I'm telling you, yeah.
all the lines, yeah, they can be a
We
John
should
Cougar
we should
Mellencamp song.
if any of us had any musical talent whatsoever, we
Hey.
should just take crap. Do you have musical talent?
I sing, yes.
No, well, I
I'm
meant
a singer.
instruments. I meant
Oh, okay.
instruments.
Oh, I played cello in high school.
Okay, let's work with that. We can work.
It could be
Hey, that's
something
cool.
awesome.
I wish I played cello in high school.
Yeah, I wish I'd learned piano many, many years ago. That would have been cool.
We could just be a band that just takes crappy old horror movies and
Yeah. Turns
just,
them into
just
something,
turns them
yeah.
into songs.
I'm
you
down
know?
for that.
That would be a YouTube sensation,
Yeah.
you know.
We do have, it'd be very, what's his face? Bo Burnham.
Yeah, yeah.
Like with his songs that he just makes up about the East. I think it was like the Easter Bunny's funeral or something like that.
Yeah.
Where I don't know, it's so random, but that'd be a beautiful side project for us. Hey, we could do it under the guise of Awkward Love Scene Productions.
Yeah.
We got all sorts of projects coming
Yeah,
down the
yeah.
pike, guys.
A commentary.
Oh, you got
over
your
a
press
movie.
card, by the way. You tweeted
do.
me. You have a press card, so we are going. We are.
I confirmed this. No, I found it when I
Yeah.
was moving. I found my press badge, and I was actually speaking to Allison the other day. I took her to Variant. Her husband has actually delivered pizzas to the hotel party. It's a real thing. This is so happening.
Yeah. So wait, tell
This
Adam.
Adam
he
doesn't
doesn't
know about
know.
it. Okay,
He doesn't
so
know.
one of the things that
want
we
to know.
discussed, I think it was when we were promoting Much Ado, is there is a monthly swingers party that happens in a hotel in
Wow.
Alpharetta, and the boys and I were discussing the fact that since I've got a press badge, we got to find a way to infiltrate and just like figure out who all is going to these parties.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I'm willing to bet I know a lot.
You
of
know,
them.
you know for a fact you would go there. You would see at least one person. You
Oh
know.
yeah, you want to see who you
Yeah.
know is going to be at this party. But yeah, Allison was like, she pointed it out very wisely that a press badge is never going to get into this party ever. She's like, you guys have to be more covert than
No,
that.
you have to pull the press badge out when they catch you.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
be like,
and it's
it's
pa-ching.
legit.
Well,
yeah,
you
that's your
have
defense
to-
mechanism.
You actually have to wear a fedora with a piece of paper that says press
Yeah,
in the hat.
yeah.
I got a hot scoop
And
on the top blonde, and I got to
trench
put it
coat.
on the double.
Yeah.
And then run out to the hall where there's a payphone.
Front
I got a hot
desk, Schmidt here.
cookie. I got a hot cookie.
I got a hot tip. But I suddenly sound like Pennywise when I'm a journalist.
I got a hot tip.
I talked like that when I worked for the newspaper.
Oh, yeah.
I got a hot story for the magazine. But yeah, so
You're
You're going to blow your top when you hear this headline, folks.
But yeah,
This
so
is front page stuff, Sonny.
ever since we heard about this, it's been Jason and my mission to bust up this party. We're obsessed
Well, I know
with it.
I don't want to bust it up. I just want to document it.
Okay,
I just want to document it and put it
yeah.
all over Instagram.
We've assembled
you know.
a press team. You and Adam and I are going to go as editor, journalist, and photographer, I think.
We're going to have like the A team show up, you know. I ain't going to no sex party. BA.
Face would be all about it. But yeah. That's his thing.
I swing, you swing, we swing.
You're going to need a Speedo and a Victorian mask.
I'm Penny the Fool. Oh, God.
BA.
Seriously, though.
So anyway,
Right. There's a movie we were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, we find out that Mike isn't going to die, which is great, in the hospital hotel.
Yeah.
And
turns out he's got 2 lungs.
Even though Mike killed Stan.
Well, and I love their exit strategy for that. So Henry gets killed, and they're basically in a group with the dead bodies sitting in their hotel room, and they're like, I just want to charge this to my card and get the hell out of here before they realize there's a dead person in my room.
Yeah.
And they all just leave they just peace out.
It would have been so convenient if one of the kids had gone off and become like an FBI agent.
And we're in the FBI.
You know, instead of Bev, it's Clarice. You know,
Hello, Clarice.
because she wouldn't. It wouldn't even have phased her. You know, what is that? An amateur hour? Come on.
So
Spider and a cookie. How about a bottle of Chianti and a nice can of fava bean?
Dude, the last guy I know, he ate a guy's brain while he was still alive. So come on.
I mean, what weak ass sauce is this that you guys drag me into?
God, that creeped the shit out of me.
Or Danny Glover. I'm too old for this shit.
Oh, Danny Glover would have just shot him.
Yes.
That would have been 10 seconds of
Martin Riggs would have put a smiley face in.
You've just been revoked.
No, Judge Dredd versus Pennywise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, would it be Stallone or Carl Urban?
Carl Urban.
Oh,
I'm the law.
That movie was awesome.
It's
no one likes that movie, but I
it's
loved it.
Terrible fun. I mean, the new one's great, but the old one's terrible fun.
Oh yeah,
It's okay to like terrible movies. It's just
Yeah.
like I mean, we've talked about this many
Most
times.
of the
like
movies
Deep
I
Blue
love are
Sea.
terrible.
Yeah, Deep Blue Sea. That movie doesn't take itself way too
Yeah.
seriously at all. No, but I love that movie
You're
so
the
damn
disease
hard.
and I'm the cure.
Oh, oh, Stallone. But
What's going on here? Perhaps I'll just stand and watch this play out.
Did they just ditch Henry Bauer's body in the room without telling
no,
anyone?
no, that's what I just said. Like they were like, oh yeah, there's just this dead body in the hotel. Let's put this on my card and get the hell out of Dodge before they notice.
You know,
yeah, they just left Henry.
I think
in the
you
hotel.
can go to jail if you just leave a dead body, and isn't that a thing?
I think it's a
Yeah.
state by state thing.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of car Harry Anderson's driving, and it's like at first they were trying to shoot it in a way that made you think it was a Ferrari,
Sort of a sports car, yeah.
but I think it's a Chevy.
But my question is it covered in
Seriously?
velvet?
I think it's a Camaro.
This whole time I was like, Richie has a cool car.
That's what I thought. Is I kept seeing just bits and pieces, and it's like, oh, I bet he's driving a
I
Ferrari.
don't think they could afford it.
He's
No,
got
they
that
couldn't.
comedian
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
They spent all that money on the claymation for the melting clown.
Yeah, his buddy Magnum said, "No, I want it back, dude."
Well, no, yeah.
And my mustache is better.
And then by the time they,
Vastly superior.
by the time they get to the end of the movie, they have zero budget. Stop motion spider.
Yeah. The most unrealistic spider I've ever seen.
Yeah,
And
they just cut to the ending from Clash of the Titans.
well, it's
Yeah.
like they were
Called
like,
up
okay,
Ray. They called up Ray Harryhausen.
we're out
and,
of money and time, so here's what we're going to do. After the elaborate scheme of recovering the 2 silver bullets and Eddie getting his inhaler, we're just going to have you knock the spider over and rip its stomach
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's the...
Why didn't they all take inhalers with them? It's battery acid, you slime.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, they took 2 weapons, and they're relying on the... Well, if you believe our discussion from Lethal Weapon that girls are superior shots to guys, according to Jason, yeah, I can see that Bev is the best shot in the crew, since
Okay,
she's the only girl.
But here's the thing.
I have
They
no
go
idea.
into the sewer with 2 pieces of silver.
Yep.
You had a week.
Yeah.
You melt down some silverware.
Yeah.
And then
Go
you,
to a coin shop, buy some old coins.
Seriously.
You know.
you would have had a whole sack of silver.
Well, Harry's got to run. He's got to get back to Criminal Court Part 2.
They've got to get through 200 cases in one night. But yeah, so and Richie's kind of
Yeah, it's a
the...
Camaro.
Yeah, Richie's kind of
pretty cool.
hesitating because they finally get all to. Bill's the one who pulls the group back together because when they were kids, he's like, "Guys, Georgie died because of this. Promise me you'll help me destroy him." And it's a very, emotional moment when they're kids. But then they're all about to leave town after they leave the dead body in their hotel room, and Richie especially is like, "Yep, peace out. I'm never gonna see you guys again. Whatever. Have a nice life." And Bill's he sees the woman playing the piano.
Yeah.
And somehow that inspires him to be like, "No, we have to stay.
Yeah.
Do you promise me, Richie? Are you going to help me?" And then he's like, "Ah, damn it. I guess I'm staying." So,
No, I'd be the guy going, "Hey, one day they'll invent Facebook. We'll catch up then."
right. But Richie's the
Bye.
one who comes up with the most logical question of all. They were about to go back in the sewer, and he's like, "Did anybody think to bring something useful like a machine gun?"
Yeah, yeah.
Like, he's the
Wow,
only
he
one who asked
actually
it.
brought up logic. Yeah.
Who knows?
I believe this flamethrower will destroy you.
Bugs don't do well with flame, if
Yeah,
memory serves.
You know who could probably have helped them? Like NASA or somebody else. I mean,
Nobody
just,
else can see him, though.
Well,
Only
then
select
there you
people
go.
Can see Pennywise.
Then just always have someone around you. Like hang
No,
out.
but that doesn't matter because he was still haunting Richie in the middle of the
Ah,
library.
true, yeah,
and the same with the
true.
parents.
Yeah, you're
they
right.
they just don't
Yeah.
see the blood, so he can still hurt them. It's just a matter. It doesn't matter if they
If
witnesses.
you didn't see him as a kid, you won't see him as an adult.
Is that the rule?
I'm pretty. Oh wait,
No,
no,
because Bill's
the movie,
wife sees him.
The movie broke that rule with the Bill's wife.
Yeah, because he
Yeah,
turned
that's
into
true.
So I
That's
guess
true.
Pennywise can choose who he wants to see him.
Yeah, it's
He's,
just
he has a process. It's
what I'm-
just enjoyable to see him work.
delightfully arbitrary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Henry Bowers never saw him as a kid. Well, no, he saw the Deadlights.
He saw.
He became Billy Idol, but he never saw actual
Look,
Pennywise.
I love that their graffiti budget was very low, so they could only afford to put just a tiny bit of graffiti on the set.
Like there was one
They
small gang here one time.
yeah.
They tried to use the same people from Lethal Weapon who greased the windows of that warehouse.
yeah.
But so you don't have the budget for that. We can do one wall for that. We can make that happen.
There's so much disease in the sewer.
He's in the sewer. Don't sewers occasionally fill up with gas and explode? Could we do something like that? Could we maybe like pump fumes in? Set
They
them
could
on
barely.
fire?
They could barely afford spray paint. How are
Well,
they going to
that's
do a
true.
special
Yeah,
effect like
that is
that? That's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Is it
Special
weird?
effects by Billy.
I want to see Kevin McAllister from Home Alone
Yeah.
take on
Oh, God.
He would
Pennywise.
kick the shit out.
Seriously,
Be
no.
amazing.
I saw that on Facebook. Somebody posted a meme where it was like Predator versus Kevin McAllister. Who would win? And somebody commented with, "How much prep time does Kevin get?"
Yeah, exactly. Because Kevin needs some time.
It's my sewer, and I have to protect it.
He's organized.
Yeah.
Unlike these idiot kids who
Yeah.
have 30 years. It's like you said, they did have 30 years technically, but they lost all of their memories during that time. But still, 7 grown-ups get together, and they're less organized than a Culkin kid.
I'd rather see the movie what are they? The Unlucky Seven, the
Lucky Seven.
Lucky Seven,
The Lucky Seven.
The
versus-
Losers.
The Losers Club.
versus the Wet Bandits.
Oh,
That would be
yeah.
a movie I'd
Yeah.
watch, yeah.
The Wet Bandits might actually win one.
Yeah, I'd like that. That would be a fair fight.
We should have called Kevin.
God, where's Macaulay Culkin when you need him? But yeah, it did. Okay, so
Call the Ghostbusters. I mean, to be
Oh
fair,
my god, that would have been an awesome crossover.
yeah, it would have been. But these guys, not only would the Gremlins have killed them, I think the Mugwais would have killed them.
anything could kill
Yeah.
these kids. They're stupid.
Yeah,
But
I can drive
Yeah,
a car like
Bill-
Gizmo.
Bill is cowering in a corner right now,
and
holding
his
a
stutter
purse.
is back. His stutter came back at random times too. Like I can see it when it's like with Pennywise or if he gets suddenly scared, but it's like his stutter came back as soon as he came to Derry.
Yeah.
But then it would disappear and come back. And Jonathan
And that
Brandis,
mole on his cheek
Oh,
distracts
God,
the
it's
hell
so
out
distracting.
of me. God, I just keep looking at it.
I'm gonna make some guacamole.
What? More.
Exactly, it's very Austin Powers.
Why are the
7.62 millimeter.
like? I know I've said this earlier, but why
Metal
are
jacket.
full metal jacket?
Oh god. No, but they get together, and it makes me think of the moment in Ghostbusters where they're about to face the Zool.
Zool.
And Ray's just like No, Dana, only Zool. But
What a wonderful singing voice you must have.
no, but Ray gets. I feel like
I like
Ray
a girl who
would.
sleeps above her covers. 4 feet above her covers.
Yep.
Sorry.
No, but
I'm going to keep interrupting you with Ghostbusters
That's
line.
fine.
No, I'm kidding.
No,
Gonna
but
happen.
Ray belongs in this crew because he's like, this is an awesome plan. I'm excited to be a part of it. Like it just, they don't come up with anything.
Egon would have a field day with it.
Egon would have already sucked Pennywise into the where do they store all the ghosts that they bust?
Little traps.
The containment unit.
Yeah, the containment unit
yeah.
that Peck opens like an idiot. But okay, so
Peck, I don't think you understand. There's a clown in here.
yeah.
You had your chance,
Peck
Venkman.
probably would have left it closed if he knew Pennywise was in there.
Oh, yeah.
It would have helped.
Peck was like, I remember him.
Yeah, the Ghostbusters show up. They put him in the trap. That'll be $27.50.
Oh, but yeah, so now
I think something's coming.
Cougar singing over there. But yeah, Pennywise is terrorizing Bill with the boat that Bill made Georgie that ultimately led to his little brother's demise.
This scene is actually pretty cool.
It is.
It's too bad this is the last scene we see Tim Curry in.
Yeah, he's the only redeeming quality to this movie.
And then we'll get into the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I mean, there's a big gulf between script writing and production.
Sure.
Yeah.
And when it comes to production and there's somebody who says, okay, you want me to do what? And how much money do I have? Okay. Hey, I get paid either way.
I know, let's spray a packing peanut and spin it around and make it look like Slimer. They just had to get creative with stuff like that. But poor Bill, he gets guilted into remembering Georgie's death because Pennywise makes him think that it was his fault that Georgie died. It wasn't the fact that Pennywise ripped the kid's arm off and mutilated him.
Yeah.
No, it's the fact that Bill
You
made
let
him a
it
toy.
kill me, and then you grew a douchey ponytail.
Oh no, I loved you.
Come on, man,
fight
it!
It's scary how much of a brain we share. Even I get intimidated by it.
I really want to see this concert.
It's gonna be great. Maybe the Patreon content right there.
Whoa, he disappeared.
Oh.
Whoa. Special
Noochies.
effects.
Jonathan Brandis actually gives it his all in this
Oh,
film.
he's
He's
fantastic.
by far the best child actor in this film.
Oh, big time.
He outshines the adults.
Yeah.
He and Jonathan Brandis. He said when he was young, when he did this movie, that the biggest challenge for him was the stutter.
Right.
He had a really hard time mastering a stutter. Like somebody actually had to coach him for it because he just wasn't. And because they were like, "Is it really weird being, in a scene with a grown man in a clown costume?" He's like, "No, the stuttering really sucked though." Like he just. But yeah.
Fun fact. I forgot to mention this earlier, listeners.
What's that?
There were 3 other people in line to play Pennywise.
Yes, there were.
There was Malcolm McDowell of Clockwork Orange fame, which that would have been awesome.
A British person.
Roddy McDowell, no relation. From
Andy McDowell?
from Planet of the Apes and Fright Night. And the third one shocked me.
And Laser Blast.
And
Please,
Laser
come on.
Blast.
And Bill Skarsgård. Oh, wait a minute. I messed up.
He
Just
was
kidding.
just born when this came out. But yeah, no, the third option really blew me away was Alice Cooper.
Oh my God.
That
Would have been a whole new movie.
that is on par.
I demand a rock musical of it with Alice Cooper as
Yes.
Pennywise.
That is on par with Sammy Davis Jr. being teed up to be Beetlejuice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, that was originally
Yeah,
who
that's
they
amazing.
wanted. Yeah, and it just doesn't.
Super.
That would have changed everything.
If they could
It's showtime,
see
babe.
me now.
But listeners, Adam was actually telling me a really interesting story about how he loves to terrorize his girlfriend
I do.
using this movie.
So
Spousal abuse segment.
with young Adam.
Young Adam gets real.
So my girlfriend is traumatized of clowns, all because of, you guess it, this movie, as most kids are nowadays.
No way.
And anyways, I took all of the lines. I actually looked up all of the lines from the movie that had a name in them. And I changed all of the names and inserted hers. So when she won't wake up, typically I'll walk right up to her when she's sleeping and start reciting the entire film.
Sweet Jesus.
Jeez, dude.
Now, are y'all are still together?
We are. I need to start bringing in like balloons and props. Though.
Oh yeah. Well, here we got
Fill them with tempera paint.
with our compliments.
There you
We're gonna
go.
bring the clown noses home.
Yes.
Yes, bring the clown nose.
Just tonight.
You guys started everything off.
We'll post the photos, guys. But Darth Jader brought some clown noses for everybody to share.
But she has thankfully agreed to stay with me and come to the premiere of the new It movie coming out in October.
Yes.
There's another one happening?
Which supposedly...
It Chapter 2. Part 2 when they're adults.
Yeah, it's
they
supposedly
split it
like
up.
the goriest
Yeah.
movie of the past 15 years. But the gore is supposed to just be off the charts.
Really?
God.
That's what I heard. That
The
they
first one wasn't crazy gory.
Yeah.
But you did see Georgie's arm actually get ripped off. But
Well, and you can do stuff like that today with with a movie. You have license to do more violent things like that because it's not on ABC. like it.
But to be fair, I mean, I always go back to, Jaws. Jaws scared me more than any other movie ever scared me as a kid.
yeah.
yeah.
Terrified me.
Oh, it's
and the
still
That
shark
was a generational thing.
And the
for sure.
shark is barely in it.
Yeah. Bruce.
Bruce.
You know that's his
Yeah,
name?
Bruce, yeah.
Bruce.
The
Finding
shark is
Nemo.
not working.
Bruce the
It's
shark.
the
is
same
not
shark
working.
from Finding Nemo.
Yeah, that was the that was a nod to Jaws actually.
I was the only kid who picked up on that when Finding Nemo came out.
Because the only they named the mechanical shark in Jaws Bruce after this really intimidating producer that Steven Spielberg knew.
Right.
And the thing was, they were not Nantucket,
Martha's
Martha's Vineyard.
Vineyard, yeah.
And Bruce had to live in the ocean. He was too big for them to drag in and out of the water all the time. So they had to keep really close tabs on him because they were always afraid that like a random boat or swimmer would happen
no
across him
shit.
and think that he was real. So there's that. But it's what Adam mentioned on the previous episode with It. He said, "Oh, this movie made me so scared of drains," and I was like, "Yeah, just like how Jaws made our generation terrified of water."
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, like any kind of water, pools, toilets, you name it, it didn't matter.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing. Like the gore, and I've always been like this. I mean, I remember in college, I had a friend of mine who loved watching Peter Jackson's old horror movies.
Oh, Brain Dead.
Yeah, and it was like, as soon as the gore ramped up, I was immediately taken out of the movie.
Huh.
Like, I don't know, gore pulls me out of the movie.
In a bad way?
Yeah, in a bad way, where I'm like, okay, it's, makeup and fake blood and stuff,
Yeah.
and like, and that's cool for a campy, fun, silly movie. But
Well, his movies were campy.
yeah, they were very, yeah.
They were like Evil Dead style.
Okay, speaking of like cheesy ass violence in bad horror movies, not to interrupt you, Adam, but here we go with the super realistic, gigantic ass spider that Pennywise has become, which once again, arbitrary.
It's okay, it's just a process shot.
Oh, thank God.
The entire movie was leading up to this.
Which is a bummer because honestly, the only one who's scared of spiders is Bill, because that's what was in his fortune cookie, right?
I guess.
But to be fair, I'm not all that scared of spiders, but that would probably scare
Oh, I
the
mean,
shit out of me.
yeah. Like if it's large enough, sure.
A stop motion spider?
It could be a fluffy little duck, and if it was that big, I'd be like, holy crap. That's why the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man is still a viable villain.
I don't know. To me, it looks kind of goofy. I just feel like I would have rather had a face off with the clown.
Maybe you should have put the silver. What do they make? Silver. What are they called? Silver bullets.
Oh,
yeah, bullets. Yeah, Kolchak did that. He shot a werewolf with it.
We have stomped all over that point so hard. They're not bringing realistic weapons with them because they're not right. They're not fighting a realistic villain. So maybe that's the logic behind it. Who knows? But yeah, and the deadlights are in the spider's thorax? I don't really know what's going on with this.
His area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
for lack of a better term.
His dead balls, yeah.
Look
God.
look at my crotch.
Yeah. Yeah, so Beverly goes to shoot the spider and misses on her first shot. That'll incapacitate just about anything. I'm stuttering all over here like Bill. But yeah, so the spider rears up on its hind legs like spiders totally do.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I was like, okay, I am no longer scared.
And okay, this is what I don't understand. Does Eddie have a moment where he stops believing in the battery acid portion of his inhaler? Because
he does
because the inhaler stopped it when they were kids, but now that they're grown-ups, he even goes back to that moment and channels his energy, and he's like, yeah, this is battery acid, and it does Nothing.
Belle Beverly just shot the silver at the face of the spider,
But
and it
she
did
missed.
Nothing. Well,
No, the second one hit it.
The second one bounced off the spider's forehead. So
Maybe because like their fear is overcoming them, and their conviction. Oh, okay. And here's another question: does Eddie die?
I think he does.
Okay,
I believe
because
he does here.
yeah, he gets squeezed to death by the spider.
Crushed by well, you can't show gore because TV, but yeah, he dies from the spider, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I know they ripped the spider's heart out.
Yeah, see, it just gets so simplified at the end. They just do this logical thing where they tip the spider over.
I believe if I jump on top of you with this big axe, it will kill you.
Maybe.
No.
And then, of course, Beverly shoots at him.
No,
She misses the first time while staring straight at the spider, but then turns her head away on the second shot and nails it right in the deadlights.
What a
with the
beautiful
silver.
shot
And
by
then
Beverly.
The deadlights, the deadlights turn into like a TV screen with sparks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an old TV that you turn off that hasn't even cooled down yet. It's just,
Yeah.
you just see the sparks all over the place.
To me, like the last scene where you see Tim Curry show up as like a sort of a weird hologram fog projection.
Like he's on the view screen on the Enterprise.
Yeah, he's on the view screen of the Enterprise, and he talks to the kids one last time to me. I'm like, that's the end of the movie.
Unjam your signals, Billy.
After that, I'm like, I'm just gonna go use the restroom, and let me know what happens with the spider.
Yeah,
and
it
poor Eddie.
is sort of a weird thing to think like you're scared, then you just are bored and you have to pee.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The last 15 minutes of this movie is probably the weakest.
Oh, yeah, Pennywise appears almost kind of like The Last Jedi, or The Return of the Jedi. He appears in like hologramish kind of form.
No, he can be saved. He can be turned.
I've seen
There
the
is good
in
in you. The conflict. There is no conflict.
I saw you in the
There
Hunt
is
for
no
Red October.
conflict.
I know you can play a good guy.
He was
Wilderness skills.
a good guy on Wild Thornberries.
He was a good guy in the Hunt for Red
Hello.
October.
I'm Nigel Thornberry.
Nigel Thornberry.
Troop leader says we're not making a quota.
Creepy.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
just
you
tilt the-
pushed me over.
Tip me over and pour me out.
What, you've never been spider tipping? Come on,
Yeah.
guys.
Not giant spider tipping.
Wow, what are you guys doing on
Now
your
rape him to
weekends?
death. Wait, what?
Ben's like, I'm gonna fist him.
Wait,
Oh,
wait, is that
God.
what we're doing?
I mean,
Oh my. That was a bit of a Freudian slip right there.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, there's your problem. You see, a spider's not supposed to have a heart
Oh,
that
you
big.
gotta think
I'm
like
gonna
this
get
spider.
that
man.
spider.
You just gotta get his heart. You just pull it right out.
I found his weakness. If you rip his heart out, he'll die.
You're saying that he won't live without his heart?
He's armless.
and the
Heartless.
Grinch's
You heartless bastard.
and the Grinch's heart grew 3 sizes that day until the hooves
And
ripped
they
out.
and they took it home and feasted.
Which, okay, here, this is another fan theory that I've heard where...
float.
Yeah, they float. Okay, so with Tim Curry turning into a spider, he puts people in his web and saves them
Right.
for later consumption, I'm assuming.
I never thought I'd hear Tim Curry turns into a spider.
He
Just
did.
so casually.
And he turned into an arachnid, if you will. But yeah, so poor Juliet / Olivia Hussey, Bill's wife, is one of the many victims wrapped up in a web. And this is yet another thing I don't get. She stares into the deadlights and goes into this sort of comatose state. Bill and all the kids at this point have looked into the damn deadlights, and they're not comatose. I don't understand
I
this.
don't get why he puts so many people in these webs. Is he like saving them for later? Is like a snack
Yeah.
for later?
Yeah.
Or
They're-
because he rips Georgie's arm off and flat out eats him. But
Yeah,
like,
none of it makes much sense.
Someday they will make a show called Game of Thrones, and I will need snacks.
But this is where everything winds down. So they've defeated Pennywise, and
cuts
Bill,
back to when they're kids.
It does, and you hear Mike saying, this is how I wish I could remember us, all 7 of us, on the bank of that swamp or creek or whatever it is. But he's writing in his journal so that he has these memories before they fade out of his brain again, because he specifically points out that now that Pennywise is gone, all of this is disappearing from their minds. But it doesn't do it in a way that makes sense. For instance, like Mike says something about like, oh, when we run into each other, we have to remind each other what the other one's name is, and we don't remember each other that well anymore. But meanwhile, Bev and Ben run off together, and they remember each other, and they get married like a week later. So they remember each other, and that's fine. Meanwhile, Richie is I think he is Buster Keaton. And
Oh
his
wow!
LA
And they're
career.
ring off into the sunset.
little
That's
little
crazy.
ditty about
Hey,
Ben and
sweet-
Beverly.
Hey,
No,
sweetie,
the curse broken.
you know that does bring up. Never mind. I was gonna make a roadhead joke, but it's you know what?
There's a
I don't
roadhead
wanna-
joke,
yeah,
and there's a condom balloon clown joke somewhere. There's a lot of jokes
They're all
just
over the place.
flying over our heads.
And the thing that makes the least amount of sense to me, period, is the very end when.
Time to ride the bike.
But yeah,
Hi-ho, Silver,
Bill's wife has
away.
been in a coma for what, a year, I guess, and nothing has helped her. She's still in this weird psychological state of mind. But he's like, you know what? Let's go for a bike ride. It once saved Stanley's life. It can save your life too. And yeah, she's just better after the bike ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Because he believed in the magic of Hi-Ho Silver.
Yeah.
It's the magic of
Do you
that bike.
believe in magic?
He's gonna give his wife
But wait, if
a
my
ride of her life.
ponytail can't heal her, maybe my bike can.
Well, did he try whipping her with the ponytail?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see that. That might have
been
been
like,
a deleted scene. You
the
know,
power of Christ compels you.
be silent.
It's it's the source of Bill's power, not anyone else's. So
You're right.
it's non-transferable. Oh, those 90s
Power of Bill compels
riding
you.
riding a bicycle in cowboy boots.
Oh, these kids! Why did I become a taxi
These kids-
driver?
I was
in
about to
this
say, these kids
town?
really-
I want to ride my bicycle.
And he takes
Just
her on
beat
this
it.
really
Just beat it.
dangerous ride. He just goes downhill amongst traffic, like cutting off cars, and
He almost gets hit in the intersection.
yeah, and he's like,
Which would have
"Come on,
ended him
come
and
on
his
back,
wife.
babe! Like,
It's like,
you
screw
can
you
do
guys,
it."
I gotta cure my wife.
And if I was Olivia Hussey, I would have been terrified because
It's
she's
okay. The
sitting-
bike's on a trailer, folks. Don't worry. We're being pulled by the crew.
Yep.
That'll wake her up, yeah.
God.
Bill, what the fuck are you doing?
I figured a near-death experience would fix everything.
Oh,
Hey, is that
jeez.
Linda Cardellini? No, it's not. It's the chick who played Juliet.
With Leonard Whiting?
Oh,
Everything comes back to Shakespeare.
Oh, and this
Mr.
is isn't
Shakespeare
this
stuff.
this is the ending shot of the movie, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the last frame. They have literally they've brought the traffic in.
It's a fun sensation. And it goes straight into Family
And then
Matters.
you hear Tim Curry,
Salads and scrambled eggs.
like
They
every
call it
horror
again.
movie, like every horror movie ever, they have to cue up Pennywise laughing at the end.
Yeah,
Question
of
mark.
course.
The
Naturally.
end.
Yeah.
Does
You know,
Skarsgård-
by the way, do you know they're bringing Frasier back?
Yeah, you
Really?
told me that.
They're bringing Frasier back.
Frasier is coming back.
Well, what do you
mentioned
know? And they've never done that with an old TV show.
Special
bringing it
guest
back.
stars. How do you have a guest star in a movie?
Well, it said special appearance by Tim Curry as Pennywise. I'm like, special appearance.
It's kind of like the and.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it- it's
did he
all
just
about
drop by one day and decide to be in it? Like,
It's all about how much
Yeah.
money you receive because when
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Tim can't. Yeah, never mind. Sorry. Go on.
no, because on Gilmore Girls at the beginning credits it always says with Kelly Bishop and
Yeah.
Ed Herman.
Well, because
So-
it's like they're the esteemed,
they're the
they're the
B.
grandees,
Arthurs of
yeah.
the situation.
Is
yeah.
is Pennywise dead for good here, or does he still come back in 30 years? Did them ripping the heart out
I
actually
think
kill
it
him?
killed him.
Fully dead now? Okay.
But see, to
Because
that
I want to
end-
see part 3 where they're all 80 years
Yeah,
old.
yeah,
and-
yeah.
Oh no, Richie even says something like that. He's like, I'm not fighting this damn thing when I'm 70 because they're all in their 40s.
I
want to
watch that. Or their
Yeah.
kids. Their kids, that'd be cool.
Yeah, 70-year-old Harry Anderson fighting a giant spider would be something I would pay a good amount of money to see.
Tim Curry needs a cameo in the remake. Please give it to me.
But yeah, so some other notes that I made about this is apparently because I spoke to Meg, a prior guest on our show. Hi, Meg. And she informed me that there is a Stephen King universe. Apparently, a lot of his stories tie in together.
That's true.
And it made me think of Rick and Morty with the microverse, miniverse, tinnyverse, whichever verse. And it just, I didn't realize that this was that elaborate. I know that they're starting to do that with Marvel, where all the heroes are tied together somehow, whatever, but I didn't realize that this was going on in the Stephen King world.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, stuff like that's been around because it's been around in books for a while. That you just
Well, I know Kevin Smith does that
yeah
in his Clerks and
View Askew universe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Well,
all those tie in together.
This technically goes all the way back to the original 1930s and 40s, like Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, because they all had crossover films.
Oh, yeah.
Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and then House of Dracula, and all those movies. They always put them together.
Abbott and Costello.
Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Well, and one of the things that I saw, because I actually did.
Abbott and Costello meet it.
Oh, God.
Yes.
Well, I did some research. I was trying to figure out what the deadlights really were, and I just didn't understand it. And apparently, it's a lot more easily understood in the book. But one of the Yahoo Answers people was basically saying there was a comment about how fear can't actually be conquered, which is a big trope in this movie. It's like you have to overcome your fear. It's like no. Fear is a fundamental instinct that we have. It's a reaction. To help us.
Fear keeps you alive.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if somebody has a fear of heights, that's a very logical fear to have, because if you fall off of a cliff, you're gonna die.
Well, that's why stress kills you, because we're designed to be scared of things like a lion showing up and eating us. We're not designed.
We don't have that.
Yeah, we're not built to be scared of. Where am I going to be in 10 years?
This deadline. Oh my God.
Yeah,
We're not really built to be that existential. We're built to react to the environment that we're in.
Right.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's why you see all those memes on Facebook that crack me up where it's like 99.9% of my stress is me making up all these scenarios that are actually never going to happen to me, but I'm worried about them anyway, because we've civilized ourselves to the point of boredom where we have to worry about hypothetical situations.
And then we start worrying when we're not worrying.
Yes. It's just it's a never-ending spiral. Because it makes me think of your story, Jason, about David asking you why basements are scary. Yeah. Because it's a fundamental instinct to be scared of the unknown, or at least be wary of it. So,
that's why Jaws. One of the reasons why Jaws is so scary is because it goes straight to. I don't have to explain to you why this. It's like
no, it's a universal concept. Everybody who's swam in the ocean has had that scary moment where something brushes their ankle and they just don't know what it was.
I mean, look, I'll be honest. Yes. I'm a 40-year-old guy. I don't go swimming in the ocean.
You said you wanted to go shark diving in a cage.
In a cage.
No. Okay, I thought of you the other day.
Did you see the end of Jaws?
Yes. Yes.
Marion Van Peebles. Yeah. But no, I thought of you the other day, Jason, because I was watching a video where a guy was in a metal cage and a great white. The way that it leapt and sort of wriggled around, it wound up in the cage with him.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
the guy survived. Yeah.
Awkward.
Meanwhile, the shark is thrashing so hard, like blood is coming out of its gills when it finally thrashes its way out. But I was like, holy shit, I've got to tell Jason about this.
The dude climbs up through the top of the cage to get out. Luckily, he was unharmed, but the shark was in the cage.
Just from the thrashing around, it could have killed him. It could have crushed him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
completely.
God, it was so intense.
Yeah, but what a way to go.
Tombstone moment, crushed, not eaten by a great white.
That's
by a great white.
when you take your knife out and you go, one of us isn't making it out of here, buddy.
Prepare to be emancipated from your inferior genes.
Real quick, I just want to point out one of the things I love about watching movies on Amazon
is seeing what else people are
viewing.
Yeah,
the customers always watched. And
got Chucky.
The first movie it has here is Jeepers Creepers. Have either of you seen Jeepers Creepers?
I have seen the first Jeepers Creepers.
The sequels are. I love that is one of my all-time favorite horror movies, and I don't think it gets.
What is it about?
It doesn't have a whole much of plot.
It's
just
kind
awesome.
Of, like he comes back every so many years, and he
just like it.
Just like that's probably why.
But he's gotta kill people because it's like his body breaks down, so he's got to kill people to get parts to remake his body.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And the ending of that movie is one of the creepiest endings of any horror movie I have ever seen.
You can spoil
I forgot
it
how it ends.
That's fine.
It's
Spoiler
been a while
alert,
since I've
listeners.
seen
it. Because there's the really hot redhead and there's the guy
Justin Long,
the dude.
Yeah.
And Justin Long's in the movie.
He gets taken in the end, and like it's like, okay, well, he's gone now. He's gotten everything he needs for the next 30 years. And it's like, oh, the movie's over. Okay.
But does he?
But then you hear like the kid screaming, and then it shows the kid, and you think he's like just standing up, but then the monster comes up behind him and he's skinned him, and he looks through his face like it's a mask.
God.
It is
That's
so creepy.
weird.
That's terrible.
It is so creepy.
So messed
That
up, and
makes
I
me
love
think
that.
of Adam. You might be a little too young to remember these. Do you remember those books, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark?
Yes.
Oh God,
There's the movie's coming
Scarecrow.
out.
the scarecrow that those guys built to help them with herding
my
a sheep
God,
or whatever,
yeah.
and they just abuse him and punch him and treat him like a punching bag, and then he comes to life. And at first he's just being weird and acting like a chicken and flapping his arms, but then he murders.
It's kind of like
The
Jeepers
guys.
Creepers, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it made me think of that, because the last visual that you get from that story is one of the sheep herders is coming back, because the first one went back to get some water or something. He went back to the house and was alone with the scarecrow. The fact that it came to life just made no never mind to them for whatever reason, and they didn't dismantle it or destroy it.
Those books were hardcore.
Oh God, no! And the last visual they give you is him stretching the guy's skin out in the sun to dry or whatever. So yeah, that's what made. Oh God!
Real quick, because I know all these movies, but what the third one, the one next to between
Cemetery?
Halloween 2 and Nightmare on Elm Street?
It's Child's Play.
Oh, that's Child's Play.
The original Child's Play.
Chucky, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then there's another Chucky movie in there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now Mark
And The
Hamill.
Crow, which it's a weird because The Crow's not a horror movie.
The Crow's not a horror movie, but it's
Crow's
awesome.
an awesome movie.
Awesome movie. Then they made
Fire it up.
terrible sequels.
Fire it up.
Yeah. It's very 90s though. I rewatched
yeah.
The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
It has
Yeah.
not aged well, but it's very fun. It's
Yeah.
very fun.
Dwight, all-time favorite movie, The Crow.
The Crow.
DWIGHT.
Well-
Brandon Lee would have had a huge career.
Oh yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of part 2 of our expose, our
Our in-depth
our in-depth review of Stephen King's It.
exclamation point.
It.
And I would like to thank young Adam.
Thank you.
For,
Yes, young
for
Adam.
bringing a bit of actual knowing things about movies and TV shows to the show. It's that's a
refreshing.
twist.
What a
twist.
What a twist.
And I don't have much else to say about this. Darth, do you have any comments?
Before we get into that, Adam, is there anything you have coming up, any projects or something that you would like to tell the audience about that we can help you plug?
And if the answer is no, don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll,
that's
We'll just
okay.
cut this part out.
I can't say too much about it because it's still in the works, but a friend of mine from high school put together a really cool kind of old school horror story podcast where it's in the vein of like Twilight Zone and telling ghost stories around the fire, and I will be hosting the show. The first episode's premiering I think in a couple months. And so I'll be hosting that, and I'll be doing maybe a voice or two in some of the stories as well.
Very cool. Keep us posted on that.
It's called the Mysterium Podcast.
Very, very
Wonderful.
cool. Hey, if he's looking for scripts, because Darth and I had a project that sort of got sidetracked because
The
of
spoken word project,
the spoken word project because of scheduling issues. But we actually have a couple of scripts that we wrote. It's literally a Twilight Zone sort of thing that we were going to do full cast.
Yeah, they both kind of are. It's
the two,
the plain one in particular, but yeah.
But is that going to be soon, or is that something you can give a link to? Or
The first episode will probably be coming out in about a month or two. I don't have everything right now, but they're setting it up. So my friend of mine wrote all the stories.
we will tweet it.
If you send it to me, I run our social media for the most part. So yeah, if you just want to announce it at some
Okay.
point, just
we'll put it on
keep us posted.
on Face Feed and Insta Tweet and all that stuff.
all the mediums.
all those things.
All the interwebs.
Yes,
all the interwebs,
all the things the young people do.
You guys, Jason is actually recently.
I know. I'm
engaged
I'm
in
hooked
social
on
media.
Instagram now. It's so weird.
Well, I badgered you and Adam Brown
Yeah.
so much into social media that apparently you're both using it now, so that's good.
Yeah, well, 'cause,
to
you know,
connect to the universe.
Instagram is you actually post things and people actually like respond.
They interact.
Yeah, as opposed
It's
to
amazing.
Twitter where you just throw it out in the ether and no one ever gives a shit.
Yeah, you're just yelling at celebrities in a crowded. Well, actually, I have a story about that. I have a picture that I just tweeted. It's an office themed picture. You know how at Target and like little stores like that, they'll sell decorative letters so you can spell your own message and put it on your wall or wherever. It spells out Bears beats Battlestar Galactica. And I posted that with a quote from Rainn. I tagged Rainn Wilson, Target, and John Krasinski because that's from the episode where John Krasinski dresses up like Dwight,
Yeah,
and
classic.
Dwight's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, identity theft is not a joke, Jim. Millions of families suffer every year." Over 250 people have liked this tweet. This is the
Nice.
most engagement I've ever seen on
Wow.
Twitter.
Nice.
My mind has been blown because normally I just Twitter just doesn't do a whole lot.
No, Twitter doesn't.
No.
I mean, I can throw something on Instagram and I don't have a lot of followers, but I can get 150 likes because of the way Instagram actually they do a good job of taking stuff that you put there and putting it in front of people who might like
Right.
it. Yeah.
Well,
So Twitter, for those of you who do follow us on Twitter, we're not abandoning it, but
no, not at all. We are at Hindsight Horror, or you can reach Jason at North Foggy, or you can reach me personally at Darth_Jader_. Adam, is there anywhere on social media where you would like people to find you, or no?
I have a Facebook.
He's got a countenance novel, so there's that. Find him on the countenance novel. Anyway, but speaking of,
but
future...
we will make sure though whenever that project comes out that we're going to
Yes, make sure to message it to me.
Yeah, we're going to put that on everything for sure.
That being said, we do have some very fun episodes coming your way, listeners. Mrs. Doubtfire will be released next, I believe, if Jason ever sends it to me for editing and show notes. But we've got so many fun, exciting guests booked for some very exciting episodes just this month. We've got our friend Randy coming to talk about Animaniacs. Hey, everybody. So there's that. We will be discussing The Princess Bride, one of the most beloved 80s movies of all time, with my friend Cece. She will be appearing. And then,
CC
hold
Rider.
on. Oh, God. And then the guest star of all guest stars, listeners. We finally have...
Sir Patrick Stewart?
No, even better. The illustrious Morgan Rogers, my cool cat dad, is coming on this show to discuss Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh,
and it's going to be amazing.
I asked my dad if he wanted to be on the show, and he just said no. No.
What show? You have a show?
No, I'm not interested.
Or what? The podcast?
I'm not interested in doing
It's like
that.
the exciting days of radio, Dad.
It's like a radio show, Dad. We're tearing up the airwaves.
Yeah, so we've
like
got
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Radio's making a comeback, see?
We've got lots of exciting new episodes coming up for recording and that we will be releasing soon. We went on a Robin Williams kick recently, so you'll be able to see those episodes soon with Mrs. Doubtfire and Aladdin. All sorts of exciting new guests and new projects in the future. And lastly, we have a Battle Royale episode.
Battle Royale.
It will be our second 2-part episode, and you will get to hear some beloved, familiar voices who have guest starred before. So be looking forward to that. And once again, listeners, thank you, as always, for spending your drive time, computer time, work time that you shouldn't be listening to us time, whatever time, really. We appreciate you tuning in. This has been Darth Jader with
Jason Mitchell
and special guest star
Young Adam.
Young Adam. Thanks again for tuning in, listeners. Stay tuned, and we will see you soon.